another expedition of the Anime Encyclopedia. I'm not moving from this.
Custom Ink helps to celebrate and drive our students.
You motherfucker! I was just trying a new mix, and it has betrayed me. It has ads on it, so you bet your ass I'm not listening to any more. It was so aesthetic too. I was fucking where is it? Like, it's so aesthetic. Like, that's so nice. Like, that's so nice. But no, we do not fuck with ads. We're not fucking with ads. No, thank you. Back to the roots. Back to the lab again. Aw, man, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab again. Oh no, back to the lab again. Am I the problem? Apparently it's a problem to be nostalgic about commercials. Oh, you have attachment to marketing and business? Oh, cringe. The fuck is wrong with that? I make trailers for Discotheque, and those are aesthetic as fuck. And really fun to make. They are their own form of like. It's so cringe to be like nostalgic for trailers. Like, get over yourself. Let people like what they like. Marketing is just as much a skill as art. I'm just spitting facts. I'm simply saying they hated him because he said the truth. Good to see you, Beal and Hayden and Greg. Yeah, it is low. Sorry, it's because I'm far away from the mic. Like that much distance. I watched Cutie Honey 73. It was a blur. Oh yeah. I guess that's fair. I should probably. I mean, I'm still gonna watch it because it's the original. But yeah, I expect it's not gonna be like, whoa, you know. I'll probably like read Cutie Honey a lot more. Those are really the only two I'm really interested in watching. The Gremlingest of Childs. Yeah. Several commercials and trailers have become iconic. Yeah, right. Oh. I was so foolish today. You are so foolish walking into the pit, thinking I'm gonna take your crap one more time, man. I'm not even a WWE fan. That's like the intro to like a Nikki Jakey song. That's my dinner. That's my meal. But what you offer doesn't fill me up, Hulk Hogan. So I've got gotta have a little bit more. Tried to come up with a new username that people can actually spell. And does this go hard or soft? Hayden Historian. Hayden the Historian. So I'll be candid. I think maybe it's because my private YouTube account is the Great Aragorn 12, and there's just something so 2010 about the in a username. There's just something. Okay, you know what about it? I don't know what it is, and I'm sorry to like the Cyniclitic, right? Or I don't know, other these, I guess. There's a lot of these. Hey, but like Hayden Historian actually like felt intuitive. The alliteration is really powerful. Yeah, and I can't really criticize about it of like not relating to anime when almost none of our like probably the majority of usernames with anime YouTube aren't related to anime really. So there's no knock on that. Maybe as you know, people might I don't know. If people's perspective on historian, right? But yeah, if you're digging it, I think it rolls off. Hayden Historian. I like the number of syllables too. It feels good. It does feel good. I'm not gonna lie. 90s Cutie Honey looks good. Yeah, I get that. Also, like, Hayden Historian makes it sound like your last name is Historian. But who am I? I thought of Hayden the shoujo historian, but that's long. Yeah, that's a little much. It's gotta say, you gotta be able to say it. You see the new Hayden story video? I just say the new Hayden video. But I get you can't just say Hayden. I get it. Alright. We're gonna finish V today, fellas. And I know it's surprise. I didn't really announce that I was doing this. Oh, my posture was so bad that my chest is not breathing right. Urgh. I need a drink. Fetch me a drink. And by drink, I mean Gatorade. Gatorade. That's my drink. Hey, Craps. You know, Craps. Well, spoilers. I had your latest video in digest because obviously it's been a while since you uploaded, and I liked the video, but it got me like realizing I should watch his One Piece videos now that I can understand them and not just be like, is he just blowing smoke, right? And dude, I deadass did not realize that Koala was the kid that they saved. I did not know that was the same character. I had no idea. I did not know, and I'm like, wow, that makes her way better. Cause like I really like that tiger flashback. Like, who doesn't? And in large part because of that girl. But like, I just thought that she was just some kid that they saved, and it's like, oh, I'll never see her again. That makes complete sense. Like, that's so stupid that I didn't think of that earlier. They never, like, Oda didn't really spell that out, maybe, because her first appearance is Dressrosa, right? And I just wasn't even thinking that at the time. They never really make that correlation. But, like, of course. So that was great. Yeah, their Fishman video is great. And then the video I watched before that was Gorilla Bark. God, there's so much more to that. Like, I just like it for vibes. I just like it because, but it's funny when Nami, Chopper, and Usopp are the ones that are spooked out the most, and then they're the ones that get on the island first. Like, that is, you can't beat that. Like, that's peak Oda for me. Yeah, and obviously Luffy's like not scared in this. Like, it's really funny seeing the delineation of like Straw Hats that would be scared of a haunted mansion versus Straw Hats that would not be scared of a haunted versus Straw Hats that would be scared about it, like the threshold of that. Oh my god, it's so funny. But yeah, wow, it's incredible how you were able to read so much in like with all those different characters and how they were all scared of like their past rejections and failure and shit, and how they treat their situation versus, you know, other characters. Oh my god. I mostly just want people to call me Hayden, but I don't think I can pull off a Hazel ripoff like that. I guess I want to be searchable. Fair. I'll watch the other Cutie Honeys too. Let me know how that like Sailor Moon one turns out. That was like the one that they made after the final season of Sailor Moon that has like a dark Cutie Honey in it or something like that. I think it has there's a certain character designer on that one. I forget. I've been wondering what you might think of my videos now. Yeah. Like it's incredible. I could tell that from watching Nensho, because I watched Nensho Wano, like the first, because I was sitting on Wano and like I was kind of dragging my feet with watching the anime, and then the other ones were like so old that I was like, nah. But I watched the Wano ones. I still have to watch the fourth one now that I'm actually caught up. Although I'm not done with Wano because there's still that gap between when they leave Wano and where the anime's at that I still don't quite recall from reading. But yeah, like I'm just listening from that, I could be like, yeah, it's a wholesome love for One Piece and not just kind of gassing it up as some sort of inferiority. Like, no, it's better than Naruto and Bleach, you guys, right? It is just coming from like a way more level-headed place, and also just not from like a shonen-heady place where they're really trying to make it seem deeper than it is. Because it is deep. It does have that like really thoughtful expansive, nuanced, intricate type of thing to it. But for some reason, to me, a lot of shonen analysis just comes off really pretentious. Like, I think it's really easy to come off as pretentious. And it's something about your, not simply your performance of the script, of like the way you say things in videos seeming very soft spoken and friendly overtly, just like naturally, I guess. Like, I guess that's my voice. but it's like also your language choice and the way that you're not, it doesn't feel like you're trying to prove anything. Where like in this chapter he says this, you know, it just kind of, it's so bizarre. I think this probably speaks to all your videos. You have a way of like, it's just go. There's no categories. There's no progression of the argument. There's no even argument. It's just you talking about it. You know, it feels like that. You're just talking about it, and able to like glean a lot, and it doesn't feel like you're systematically proving something, which is so nice. I remember when Koala showed up in Dressrosa and was like, "It's her from the flashback," and my two friends are like, "Who?" I wouldn't, if you told me that, I'd be like, "Oh yeah," but then I wouldn't have said who, because that was, I remember distinctly that's one of the like 15, 20 times, which is granted a lot, but for 1,000 episodes, not too many. It's kind of rare. That is like one of the first, not first actually. No, God no, not the first. One of the few times I cried, I remember from Koala, for sure. From that kid, the way she realizes that she's okay and everything, and going from that like whatever mind break she had to like realize she's okay and like breaks down crying. You're like, Oda just can do it every time. It's like, just have a character break down crying. And it works. It's like, poof, magic. It's amazing what you do when characters cry, you know? And I love the group divide in Thriller Bark. It's amazing. Yeah, for sure. Let's go, baby. Yeah, Holy Pig. Hello, Oscar. What's shaking? What's the One Piece cry counter? Oh, Yuda, it's, nah. I think what would be an interesting, it's not like just a counter of how many times people have cried. No way. I think what would be an interesting counter is which characters have cried and which ones haven't. Because I feel like there might be some significance to that of like, a character hasn't cried yet. The thing is, they've all cried. They've, at least all the Straw Hats have bawled their eyes out. Though I will say, I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong about this. I don't think Frankie has had a really genuine cry. He has a character trait where he's kind of a softie for tragic stories, and he's he's just an easy crier, which I love. I love that joke, but it's a joke, right? At least I feel it that way. It's like a characterization for him. But it doesn't feel like there was a moment, even when he's leaving Water 7 with Iceberg. He doesn't have a similar thing like with Sanji or something, right? You know, he doesn't have like a really major cry moment that I can think of. And, you know, maybe that could be a little indicative of how he hasn't really gone a whole lot after Water 7, you know? You know, just saying. It's not a criticism. You know. The latest chapter is exciting, though. I won't discuss details, but, like, Frankie might be doing something. At least it seems that way to me. Yeah, but he was crying pretty hard with Iceberg told him to forgive himself. Yeah, that's probably the time. That's probably the moment. Because that's like a genuine... Yeah, does he cry... Is that the, it's not like when they're leaving, but it's like during, it's like when Iceberg realized he was alive. Like after Frankie came back as a cyborg or something. It was a private moment with the two of them, I think. There was a moment that Frankie got really emotional. But it might have been what you're talking about when they did, like when you told him to forgive himself. I don't remember the full context of that. It's been a little while. I can already say that. Yay. Big show, you know. All right, I've been stalling a little only because not for any reason. Because I can, first of all. But also because there really isn't too much to go through, because I only have 7 articles of V and then 2 thematic entries. But you know what? I might do 3 or 4 tonight, because the next stream, and might even go a little into do some chunk of W, because fucking next stream, tomorrow's stream, is 50 entries, and then the stream after that is 58 entries. And last time I tried 58, I didn't make it, so. Take a shot every time you cry. Every time I cry. I mean, it wouldn't be that often. Because of, you know. But maybe a little often. But, you know. He was crying pretty hard when I was, yeah. Alright. Where we going? Voices of a Distant Star. Volley Boys. Haikyuu? Really? This is from 1997, a 2-episode OVA. Oh, well, there you go. I'm like, wow, a progenitor to Haikyuu, perhaps? No, not necessarily. It's like what you expect. That's funny. Sex, and the description on ANN is the exact same description on Anime Encyclopedia. Very short. Sex-starved. I don't need to say it out loud. Oh wow, yeah. The sex-starved teenage boys at Kudo High School sign up for the girls' volleyball team, hoping that if they build it, the girls will come, to a year that has no girls in it at all. That's just really funny. Mixes Field of Dreams with Ping Pong Club. All right. But I'm actually kind of interested in that. That just sounds funny. I'm sorry. I know that sounds really stupid. But that's just like really, it just sounds like really funny. I was just looking at this the other day because it's directed by Kunihiko Yuyama. Really? I'll just be reading the chat. How's it going? Good. All right. Voltage, Fighter, Gao Kaiser. What a name! What happened to using the tertiaries? You put Ideon. No, they didn't put Ideon in I. They put it as Space Runaway Ideon. But then they have Utena as U, Evangelion as E. What about Gao Kaiser? Why isn't Gao Kaiser in G? That's funny. I gotta put that as an example because that's just a funny. That's just funny. The name is really interesting. Colorful. Where's the list of those titles where it's like... Yeah. Yeah. What about Voltage Fighter Gao Kaiser? That sounds like Earth Defender Linguini. That's such a Earth Defender Linguini ass title. This being an Obari anime, all the female students have at least 2. Outstanding gift, I say. Alas, the script doesn't. It starts with some interesting ideas, but many never develop. Based on a computer game, parentheses, that would only use some of the characters. With plenty of action and plenty of Abari's trademark fan service, Gao Kaiser remains just another beat-em-up fantasy with fantasy tropes thrown in. Dismissive. Alright, we're here for Voltron. I also have to compare all these to the first edition. I'm sorry. We started at volleyball. All of these have been in the first edition so far. Ah! I thought this, I just kind of looked at the heading over here and it says Yacht Budget Space Tours, but I thought this just said, Yay, budget! I clearly went too far. Where are you, Christmas? Why can't I find you? Okay. No changed for Volley Boys. Thrown in. I think they added something for Gao Kaiser. Ah, they added that it was edited into a movie. Added movie edit. All right, Voltron, we're here. Oh boy, are they gonna shove in the modern Western cartoon in there? Reptile Emperor Dai Bazal of planet Garla, aka Zarkon of planet Doom in the American version, has built a galaxy-conquering army by transforming kidnapped enemies into fighting monsters. On a mission to Earth, his forces kidnap some of his people, including our unsuspecting heroes Akira, Takeshi, Tsuyoshi, Isamu, and Hiroshi. They are carried off to a conquered world for transformation. Stealing an enemy ship, they escape and manage to reach the planet of Princess Farah, where they learn that 5 ancient robot lions can combine to form one mighty robot. Impressed by their courage, the dead emperor in hologram form gives them the power to operate the machines, form the robot, and free the galaxy from the forces of evil in just 52 episodes. That just brought me... So Voltron is probably the single best reason why they're doing the localized names instead of the Japanese. But that just gave me an idea. If you could have just put like a Voltron, just a title, and then you're like, see the name, and they actually gave the Japanese name, which is Hyakujo Go Lion, or even just Go Lion or whatever, and put it in the like if you organize it like that. But they might actually make this entry just Go Lion and just Die Rugger, of which it's a combination. Voltron's the combination of. Impressed by their courage, the dead emperor in hologram form gives them the power to operate the machines, form the robot, and free the galaxy from the forces of evil in just 52 episodes. In the US version, Earth was the headquarters of the peace-loving planetary federation known as the Galaxy Alliance, and Sven, Keith, Lance, Pidge, and Hunk were space explorers sent on a mission to planet Oris, recently devastated by Zarkon. Their objective was the Lion Force, Oris's 5 greatest weapons, which could merge into form the super robot Voltron. They find that Princess Allura has survived the devastation of her world and is struggling to overthrow Zarkon's evil rule, and they join her as the pilots of the 5 robot lions that combine to make up Voltron. In the original story, Akira... Alright, so they spoil Go Lion. The Go Lion series was bought for US syndication as Voltron Defenders of the Universe, with scripts written by Jameson Brewer and Howard Albrecht. Presaging the later treatment of Robotech, it was combined with an unrelated show to bulk out the running time. Die Rugger was a 56-episode show, also from Toei, renamed Vehicle Team Voltron in the US. In the original Japanese version, Earth is enjoying it. All right, so they are lumping Die Rugger and Go Lion's entries into one as Voltron's entry. Unlike, I believe, Macross, where their Robotech entry, I'm pretty sure their Robotech entry still allowed separate entries for Macross and Southern Cross and the third one. Yeah, Southern Cross has its own entry. Most Peada has its own entry. And Macross obviously has its own entry. But Die Rugger does not, and Go Lion does not. I would imagine so. Really interesting. And I imagine Bismarck doesn't either, because that's Star Sheriffs. Yeah, it's Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs. That's really interesting, actually. They do. Shows trying to sell the toys thus bad. Thankfully, have not made that point just yet. So they're describing Die Rugger now. In the U.S., in the original Japanese version, Earth is enjoying a period of unparalleled prosperity thanks to its alliances with the people of the planets Mila and Sarah. The president of the Terran League initiates a mission to explore space beyond our galaxy, and the starship Ruggergard sets out on its mission. Attacked by a ship of the Galvestron Empire, Ruggergard sends out its best line of defense, Die Rugger 15. A giant robot made of 15 different mecha, each with its own pilot. Holy crap. I actually didn't know that Die Rugger was literally a 15 pilot mech. That's crazy. As with Gold Lightan and other shows of the period, there is a far-fetched origin. 15 players on a team of rugby, a sport whose only other anime appearances is in wartime anime. In the US version, Voltron technology was brought back to Earth after the struggle with Zarkon in the earlier Lion Force Voltron segment. The Galaxy Alliance used it to build their own even larger Voltron made up of 15 smaller robots and sent it out of our galaxy on the spaceship Explorer to find habitable new planets. The Drool dictatorship, whose homeworld was dying of pollution, sent ships to tag along behind the Explorer to try and steal any habitable worlds for themselves. The 15 pilots of the Explorer had to do battles both with the natural forces like volcanoes on the worlds they discovered and with the Drool. Eventually, the Drool population revolted. Okay. Sounds like they're spoiling the end of Voltron. The producers intended to refashion Arbogast, Lightspeed Electroid Arbogast, as the third part of the series, but the show was canceled. Really? Ah. This show. Arbogast. Arubegasu. Race cars! At least it seems that way. I could be wrong. Very cool. Very cool. However, merchandising by U.S. toy distributors Matchbox further confused matters by including the stackable robot hero from Arbogast Voltron 2. The toy boxes show stills from all three anime, with Dairugger as Voltron 1 and Go Lion as Voltron 3, claiming that the Arbogast robot is part of the Voltron storyline, though he never appears in the TV show. Riding on the momentum created by Star Wars and the sales of space battle toys, Voltron was successfully rerun on US cable TV in the early 90s. World Events Productions ran a 90-minute special in 1983, then syndicated the series as a half-hour daily show, tied into the merchandising of toy weaponry. Lion Force did better than Vehicle Team Voltron with its new audience, to the extent that new episodes were commissioned from Japan, especially for the American market, creating a total run of the combined Voltron series of 125 episodes. In one of these, the recovered Sven rejoined the team just in time to help defeat Zarkon. The sequel, Voltron: The Third Dimension in 1998, was an all-American 3D CG motion capture version made by Babylon 5's effects company, Netter Digital. In this version, the team is joined by Zarkon himself, who has seen the error of his ways and fights to defeat Zarkon's evil son, Lotor. You can tell he's evil because he has a scar. Scar is in italics. I didn't know there was a 3D Voltron, like American only. Let's see. Voltron, the third dimension. Oh, wow. Straight up. Holy crap. That's cool. It's a preview.
How powerful is
Shut up! Shut your bitch ass up.
Get ready for 2 super-powered video collections
Video collections
that will transform your life forever.
will transform your life forever.
First, see how it all began
Yay!
with the classic TV hit series Voltron, Defender of the Universe.
I would be
The story of 5 space explorers and their
I would be interested in the original.
invincible force.
The voices actually sound pretty good. Hold on. Like, the voices actually sound kind of dope.
The story of 5 space explorers and their mighty robots. We're on our way! Forming one invincible force.
Go Voltron! Like, yeah, dude. I'm fucking in. Like, that's the energy I want from most mecha series anyway.
For the first time ever on video, you can catch Voltron's newest and most thrilling adventures in Voltron: The Third Dimension. The evil Prince Lotor has escaped from space prison.
Lotor will
Space prison.
bring this galaxy to its knees.
And he's creating a new
Oh my
generation
gosh,
of Doom
this Shrek
weapons.
ass.
Join
Dude.
Commander Keith,
Toonami
Princess
ass,
Allura, and the
like-
entire Voltron force for the
That, look at that! The PlayStation fucking, wow. Wow,
for
dude.
the most incredible
they got all-
adventures in the
45
universe.
Time for a good old space rumble, huh, Keith?
Loved by good, feared by evil, collectible by all. Voltron, Defender of the Universe, and Voltron: The Third Dimension. Own them on video today.
No, I will not. I refuse. I will watch them on YouTube like God intended. Anyway. Real Beast Wars reboot. Yeah! Yeah. I have very little connection with those series, so wasn't on my mind. But you're very right. Of the era. I prefer Cubics. Of course you do, Rob. I do too. My first exposure for sure. Gotta get those AdBlock plugins. No! No! I will support the creators. Sorry, I'm still on that, yeah. They should sell propaganda instead of the true prestige TV, yeah. Oh, damn, the voice actor takes me back. You're right. What is this, though? Was there a footnote for Voltez? Or should I just take another note from the Filipino remix as anthropological study? I don't know what you mean by footnote. Man. Never knew they made a CG ones. Reboot layer. It used to be the Wild West of CG pioneers like Cuba. Yeah, for sure. Shut your bitch ass up. The fucking, the Rock. You know, the Rock. So no, they didn't talk about the Netflix show. Netflix did that, right? The new one? The new Voltron? I wonder how much they actually took from, like, the original. Probably not a lot. I really wonder if anybody has actually gone through the effort of making a comparison of the original Go Lion and the new Netflix show. And maybe where areas where it could have improved or could have been, or, you know, I don't know how they complement or contradict each other. Boom, 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 boom. Doesn't seem like that much change so far. Ba ba ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. I've listened to this loop way too many times at this point. All right. Yep. No change. No additions. Obviously from first. Yeah, it's a spin-off of a poor adaptation. 3D bits of Code Lyoko, right? Check the Wikipedia for Goal Line to see the massive list of differences. Okay, cool. Someone has gone through the effort. Sweet. I don't think I heard anything good about Go to Voltron wise after the fandom drama drowned everything out. Fair. No, you're right. They devoured themselves and they all moved on to something else. Really big, really yike. It just like it feels that way for every. I could just be talking out my ass, but it really feels like every time there's a really good Western cartoon, the fans are like, the community is so desperate for anything that they latch onto it so tightly that they rip themselves apart. And it just doesn't feel like worth watching or engaging with afterwards. Especially when it's over. Right? Am I wrong to say that? There doesn't feel like to be a cartoon right now that they're like, everyone's fucking gunning, like amazed about. You know, the one I would say maybe is like Owl House. Owl House seemed to fare pretty well. I I didn't really hear too much controversy there. This was mostly in like that 2010 Tumblr period, like Voltron Steven Universe, you know, Gravity Falls maybe, but Gravity Falls seemed to hold out okay, you know. They make a religion out of it. Yeah. Because they really... Watch Go Lion. Voltron could be forgotten. Oh, fair enough. Voltus. But I don't know. I feel like I don't have any other reason to watch Go Lion. Like, sure, there's probably... I would probably... If I was to watch it, I would watch both. I would want to watch Go Lion and Voltron. Because I would be interested in seeing what the producers at that time chose to retain of the original, because obviously there's things that they couldn't retain for the time period if there's the restrictions that they had. But what were like, let's see if we can get away with this, or what do we think we can change because we're afraid that this is not going to land with our audiences. I would be interested in the differences, to be honest, like physically experiencing them and not just reading them off. I watched like 5 seasons of that fiction. Damn. It's Voltes V. I just realized I'm reading Voltes V. Okay, that sounds like spoilers. I want to read Voltes V's. I should have been doing this more often, honestly, to detect spoilers, but like... That is a way better synopsis than what I just read in the fucking book. Yeah, no, that's absolutely spoilers compared to what I just read there. Origin. I think it's because Dana got choked out by Disney for featuring actual gays, so they didn't have enough mystery around creatorship to build weird worship. Why hold a poor localization against the original and can be enjoyed on its own? No, right. That's what I think. I wouldn't be holding it against it or anything. It's just more of a curiosity. Like, both versions exist, you know? I feel that Western fans get caught up in representation in a way that becomes too personal. Things get too heated and fights break out. I guess that there isn't enough good Western cartoons, so they fight. I think that's the thing, there's not enough good ones. Oh yeah, I group watched Voltes many years ago. Still am not too into how it was all... Prince Hanel was the first complex antagonist in mecha anime. Acting like Garuda from Combattler V. Well, yeah, that's the funny thing, because it's like Combattler V and Voltes V are kind of from the same group. I know it's the same director, but I don't know if it's necessarily the same writers or animators or anything. Of the few they have. Yep. Acting like Garuda didn't exist. Yeah, no, it's a way better synopsis. I really want to make a point about that, actually. Part of the romance trilogy. Oh, yeah, exactly. After Sunrise made Combattler V for Toei, it followed up with this repeat performance. And they actually, well, they kind of make point of it. The undisputed star of which is Haino, the first baddie to be a real hit with the female audience who wrote in demanding that he survive. Okay. No mention of Nakahama, of course. Actually, just, yeah, it's dismissive, I think. They just call it a fucking... Alright. Western fans have this attitude of, this show is made for me until it isn't. Okay. Voluptuous craving. From 2007. It just says you can predict the outcome. Alright. Vugi's Angel from 1997. Deliver some interesting moments. Then there's a black and white Gunbuster homage in episode 3. Doesn't explain why cyber-enhanced women usually have gravity-defying breasts, or why swimwear is the battle dress of preference in Obari-designed shows. This actually does sound really cute, though. I guess I will say mixed. As delivers some interesting moments. Doesn't explain why cyber-enhanced women usually have gravity-defying breasts. It's another show where I wouldn't look twice, really. But I don't know. Seems like fun. I've hardly seen any Obari, to be honest with you. Oh, look at that! Bennett's covered it. Final Act Syndrome, not even once. I guess I shouldn't be surprised he's covered it. Okay. I blame the Joss Whedon for cultivating that kind of fan culture. Really, it's more that ever since that writers were actively engaging fan write-ins, that's made that kind of parasocial real common. That's a good point. That's probably a good explanation for Shift. I mean, it doesn't help that it was kind of the emergence of people like Mr. Enter and other like internet review culture being a little more picky and critical about cartoons, right? And who are they? The writers, you know. Explanations for usually lame and more cringe than just having the skimpy outfits. Would rather no explanation. Yeah, explanations are usually lame and more cringe. No, I agree. I think that's a good point. I would say there's something about the way they talked about the cast made it sound interesting. Votums! On a distant world, the perfect soldier is finally created after genetic manipulation and a breeding program lasting centuries. But by the time this happens, the war is almost ended. The politicians and scientists who bred him either want him dead or want to use him in other more sinister ways. But Kiriko Kube isn't a machine. He's a human being, and he's determined to find out who is responsible for all this. As the war ends, he is separated from his unit, thrown into a series of desperate situations, enslaved, used as a gladiator in robot combat, enlisted as a mercenary, and meets the love of his life, only to discover that she is too a perfect soldier. That is absolutely not how it goes. That is absolutely not how it goes. That is a poor synopsis of Botoms. That is a poor synopsis of Botoms. Nope. Let me see who else. Let me see. Can I get another try, please? I usually don't even read synopses, right? So sometimes a lot of these are new to me. I never read the synopsis for Botoms. I only just was interested in it by the visuals and vibes. A century of bloodshed between warring star systems has plunged nearly 200 worlds into the flames of war. Now, an uneasy truce has settled across the Astragalus galaxy. Kiriko Kyubi, a special forces-powered armor pilot, is suddenly transferred into a unit engaged in a secret and highly illegal mission to steal military secrets from their own military. Now he's on the run from his own army. Unsure of his loyalties and to cover their own tracks, Kiriko is left behind to die in space. Surviving by luck, the renegade is now hunted by both the conspirators and military intelligence. He is driven by the haunting image of a mysterious and beautiful woman, the objective of their mission, and his sole clue to unraveling their treacherous scheme. But the conspirators will do anything to preserve their mysterious agenda. Way better! Like, dead to fucking nuts! Bravo! Actually watched the fucking show. I don't know what the fuck that was. Just really poor fucking synopsis, to be honest with you. Not right. Incorrect. Well, the thing is, right, it is correct in some regards. It's not completely wrong. But it's so misguided. Like, I'm sorry that spoiled Votoms for you, because there was a spoiler in there. You probably might have picked it up. In comparison, like, you know, obviously you can kind of deduce, if you could give the comparison of what this didn't, what the second synopsis didn't say, versus what this first one focuses on. Incredibly poor synopsis, actually. Ugh. I'd only justify Skimpy if they took the explanation to be stupid level of exposition and then became a plot point. It needs a Kinoko Nasu level 3-hour seminar from Maji Techno Battle. Only technically correct. Yeah, this is only technically correct. It's I want to root. He's determined to find out who is responsible for all this. No. Like, it literally... Yeah, so, like... I'm sorry to spoil Votoms for you, but they say here that they literally introduce him as the perfect soldier, when that is not revealed until much later. And it says here where it's like, enlisted as a mercenary and meets the love of his life only to discover that she is too a perfect soldier. He met her as like the experiment and like that she's a perfect soldier before he realized that he himself is a perfect soldier. That's the twist. That's what's really interesting about Votoms. This makes it sound fucking dull. Oh my god. And don't worry, even if I've kind of spoiled Votoms a little bit, I wouldn't say that's the major spoiler. There's something that happens in that show that's like, whoo! It doesn't even say anywhere of how he pilots a fucking robot. It literally doesn't, actually. No, it never mentions that he's a pilot of a robot. This second synopsis at least says he's a Special Forces powered armor pilot. Powered armor. The real robot concept was born out of a conviction that the weapons of the future would not be made of shiny metal in clean, bright primary colors. Designer Okawara wanted to create suits that looked as if they would be made in a 20th century factory, designed so that the toys that would inevitably be spun off the series could be posed and moved exactly like their animated inspirations, unlike many of the suits he had designed for Gundam, and smaller in scale than his designs for Dougram, whatever. I will always call it Dougram. Robots, which started out in anime primarily as cool toys. Like, they're talking about them as, like, giant robots, and they didn't even mention them in the synopsis! They didn't even fucking bring them up! Can I read the third edition? Hold on. No change. No change. Garbage fucking synopsis for Votoms. It doesn't even make any fucking sense. Oh my gosh. Waxing about real robots. Like, They actually added something in the 3rd edition. They kind of credited Takahashi with the real robot designs. Instead, creator Takahashi posited an environment where fighting machines were grim, functional workhorses. Many passed their prime and headed for the scrap heap, giving more credit to Takahashi than to designer Okawara. They've added something else. Added... In just one of the serial's many inspired touches, many Votom machines have roller skates to permit speedy movement. While it sounds incongruous, it functions as a challenge to the Gundam machines, which Takahashi regarded as unrealistically mobile on the ground. Added novelty of roller skates. And Takaha comment on the unrealism of Gundam mobility. Okay. Robots, which started out in anime primarily as cool toys to even up the odds for the little children, the human race, or the Japanese, against a big hostile world, adults, alien invaders, or foreign competition, had been seen right from the first as having as much potential for destruction as for good. Gigantor could be used by evil men just as easily as by perky little Jimmy Sparks. The power lay in the hands of whoever held the remote control. Takahashi and his fellow writers and directors extended this idea into the whole range of future military technology, vertical one-man tank for offensive maneuvers, showing robots and scientifically enhanced super beings as just another weapon in the arsenal of the politicians, and war as a vicious dehumanizing process in which horror and courage came from the individual, honor and courage came from the individual rather than any religion or value system and could be crushed as easily as an insect. See Gray Digital Target. It also didn't hurt that Votom's hero resembled Steve McQueen, lead character in the western Junior Bonner, an early inspiration for the anime. Can't help it. Steve McQueen, particularly in where? Junior Bonner. Yeah, okay. Okay. I will tell you, Kiriko does not smile. But that's not a bad play. Yeah. I can kind of see it. Granted, I have to see the actual movie and what his character's like. Of course, it obviously is like, you know, they must have grabbed an interview from Takahashi where he's talking about the movement of Gundam and everything. So it's probably what it was like, yeah, it's a really inspiration. Whose laconic combination of little boy charm and man's man toughness was hugely popular with Japanese audiences. Okay. The concept and the appealingly gritty realism of Takahashi's future war vision spun off another video series set in the same universe, as the title signals. Written by Takahashi but directed by Takayuki Kanda, Votom's Armor Hunter Mellow Link is the story of a young rookie who is the sole survivor of a platoon cut down by bungling and treachery higher up in the ranks. Framed for desertion and the deaths of his colleagues, he vows to avenge them. Each of the 6 50-minute episodes... 6? Is it 6? I thought it was 12. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It is 12. Nani sore? Is it 12 25-minute episodes then? It probably is. I don't remember them being 50 minutes. Yeah, they're 24. They're regular length. Let's see if they changed it in the 3rd edition. I'm just gonna compare. Alright, no change there. Ah, yes. They did change it. They did correct it. Corrected. Well, changed 6 50-minute eps to 12 25-minute eps. Brilliantly paced series, richly meriting a Western release. The series was a major inspiration for the Heavy Gear role-playing war and video game franchise. Yeah, they really like Mellow Link. And they don't really give any opinion on Votom's. Brilliant. Brilliantly paced, richly meriting a Western release, good Kara dev, and tension. And of course they add more because there's more to the franchise. Note that Votom's has many recap episodes and fix-ups of pre-existing videos, which are sometimes mistaken for original episodes. These recapitulations are... Okay. Added note about recapitulations. ATV highlight. Stories of the APV2, Wudo, Kamen, Sansa, Quant. 15 years later, after the last spin-offs, a number of new iterations extended the franchise and filled several narrative gaps, beginning with the 12-part video series Armored Troop Votom's The Pilesome Files, added 2009 Pilesen Files. Followed by 6-part Phantom chapter. 2010 Phantom chapter. And the one-shots Case Irving, Finder, and Alone Again. 3 one-shots. The Twilight releases seem to reflect an understanding on the part of the producers that Votoms was one of the blue-chip titles that gathered a silver otaku following of middle-aged men with an enduring interest in the models and the franchise. However, as creator Takahashi once joked at a Scottish film festival, Votoms and golf have a lot in common. They both take a long time, and they are both quite boring to watch. Ah. What an awful way to end the fucking article. That's not funny. That's really annoying. That's really sad. Like, yeah, it's nice that they were able to fucking talk to Ryosuke Takahashi, and he has all these stories about being at Mushi Pro and everything. And it's great that they were able to talk to him. Because they're talking about, they're saying a Scottish film festival. They're talking about the Scottish Film Festival. Because I know that Clements helps organize it. And, like, that's a funny anecdote, but that's not a way to end the article about Votoms. It's like, it's really boring. Like, take it from the fucking creator. Like, can we not just end our articles like this? There's so many articles that they're just ending it so sourly and, like, annoying. Added silver otaku comment, and Takahashi obviously jokingly, like, oh, it's a joke, come on, it's a joke. But, like, there's a reason you're bringing it up, right? It's not just, it's funny. Like, maybe just, I don't know, like, is it a joke to you? You clearly didn't have anything positive or negative to say about the series itself. So annoying. I think it's We Love Anime is the name of the festival. Scotland Loves Animation. Scotland Loves Anime is the name of the film festival. Votoms and golf have a lot in common. They both take a long time, and they are both quite boring to watch. Why end the article like that? It's like ending their Sailor Moon article on the fucking porn parody. It's like sour taste in your mouth. I really hope I can able to fucking compile all the instances where they just end. They tend to fucking end so many of the high-profile articles on such sour notes, all the time. And get this, after cutting off his hand, Big Bad Vader melodramatically says he's Luke's dad. How cliche. Yeah, just from that synopsis, I wouldn't have guessed it's a mecha show. Is it actually stakes or modified treads that they're exaggerating? It's treads. It's obviously like, it's like the gun tank in Gundam. It's in Gundam. There is a fucking gun tank. You know, like it's a little more obvious that it's treads, but like that's in Gundam. And the Votoms, they also roll on rail, on like, yeah. See the way they're kind of like skating or whatever? Yeah, they have the, it's, threads underneath on their feet. Here, I thought millennials were stereotyped for low extension. Yeah. Hello, Mondays now. Only for today, because I didn't finish V last time. I didn't end up finishing V at the end of that stream. I had like a couple entries left, and some of the thematic entries, so I just wanted to... I didn't want to fall behind on the schedule. There's an ethics to mean-spiritedness. Gotems. Yeah. Voyage of the Tsushima. 1982. Damn. It's a historical piece, so they obviously spoil it at the end. So it's like spoiling Titanic, you know? Voyeurs Digest. I don't think there's anything changed from the 82 entry, from the Voyage to Tsushima. You ever think of doing a video essay in the style of ASMR? I had actually made a decision. I had a video very early on that I determined that my voice was not appropriate for the kind of tone that I was trying to go for. It was a very early on where I was like trying to do something kind of experimental. And so that was my movement and escapism video, which I used this OST for. I used this OST. And that video is a movement and escapism. And so that has no dialogue. It's more of like a lyric video, if that makes any sense. I communicate through text, kind of aesthetically on screen. And it's mostly an audio piece. So, I don't necessarily think that my voice is cut out for that. And Encyclopedia OST. Yeah, it's pretty much this, but like there was a while when I obviously was using Cold Steel a lot, and then some other like general lo-fi hip hop whatever. But I don't think I can use fucking this anymore because I got like 3 claims that like was like, you can't monetize this, bitch. So I'm like, okay, jeez. Can you sing? Yeah. I was in musical theater. I did musicals since middle school. Like since like middle school, 6th grade, all the way up through high school. Although when I was 15, not only just puberty obviously, but then working at camp, we did a lot of cheers and loud singing that is prioritizing more volume than notes. So I really butchered my voice for a number of years. Really like roughed it up. I still have really good like tune sense. Though by I don't really know the name of it really, but like I can hear a song and kind of do 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 do. Doom, 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 doom. And that's obviously off the top, like trying to remember what the song is, and yeah. And I've had music like singing lessons for a long stretch of time too, in that middle school period, but then also in college, like college level music courses. So I've been able to sing, but like I'm really not in a position to. Very out of practice, obviously. Sing a song right now, you won't. Do a visit video essay as a song. Yeah, no. The thing is, we're trying to avoid cringe, you see. Although I have definitely thought about, like, doing some things where I do covers of some anime OPs. Because there's definitely some songs that, like, I love that I would want to sing, but it's not my range. And rather not embarrass myself. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, Warriors Digest. Anything to digest? God. Bad End is the English title, apparently. Or Japan, actually. The Japan is Bad End. Okay. It's just like the voice control that I don't have any. Like, I can still sing stuff and have the idea, but like I'm really out of practice with breathing and with holding notes, right? And hitting certain notes and understanding my range and keeping within that range. I was in chorus. I did like 1 year of high school chorus, really casually, but not like a major thing. You could be anime Bo Burnham. Yeah. I do admire his performative bent. But I don't think I have the courage or lack of shame to try and attempt something like that. This guy, you have a lot of confidence. And a good circle of people who kind of tell you what sucks and like what could be better. But I do have a musical theater background. More of a just general theater background, but I've done musicals. The original title was presumably changed in the American release in order to prevent in order to prevent people like us making snide and unjustified remarks about the beginning and middle not being all that good either. Compare with Classroom of Atonement, which shares many plot elements. I would say that's a negative. It's also fucking porn. Okay. Ugh. Well, what was the... I tried to do sci-fi and robots and sports anime. Great. I can just... I'm scrolling the right direction. I am, thank God. Okay. All right. Yay. Let me get a bar. Let me get a protein bar. Well, I should... We like sports, and we don't care who knows. I got some bread. Loafage! Ah! Oh, holy shit. These bars? Alright. I cracked myself up. And I don't care if chat laughs either. I don't care. I laughed. That's all that matters. Do a bread review. See, I'm still at the point with bread, even though I've eaten it all my life, that I love it so much. I'm like that new fan that's just like, oh, bread's great! It's bread! Why wouldn't it be great? What happened? Oh. I laughed because I held up the thing like this and said loafage. I was excited I had bread. But we're about to read their thematic entry on science fiction and robots. "10 grams of protein beyond eternity. Rye bread at 2 a.m. Woof! Bread is also good bread. Yeah, I'm not a bread elitist like Garnt. Eating rice, never a mistake. Oh, those Hawaiian street rolls? Well, I don't know. Because the package they were in was for baby spinach and spring mix. So, don't think I don't quite know, but just seems like pretty standard, pretty standard. It was for my dad's birthday yesterday. We had a whole party set up for his 60th birthday. I've never heard of sprouted bread. I will let Garnt wallow in his stupid opinion. Flail around like a fool. Because he knows he's wrong. Therefore, I have no reason to debate him. I should make more challah bread. I've never had that. That's the thing. I'm very newbie with bread. Okay. Let's see what they got to say about sci-fi and robots. The earliest science fictional works of Japanese animation, date from the 1930s, with Shigeji Ogino's amateur film Hyakumen go Aruhi in 1932, and Teizo Kato's 10-minute The Plane Kabi's Lucky Day. However, sci-fi itself failed to catch on as an animated genre. Sheesh. Flames. It's made from grains and seeds that are soaked and allowed to sprout first. Sprouting increases iron and nutrient bioavailability. Holy crap. That's incredible. I'm not really in it for that, though. You know, I kind of eat bread for the texture. I think it's the texture. I would say if I had to choose reasons I eat bread, I'm mostly excited about the fluffiness and the texture. And after that is the taste. And after that, I would say is like the filling, the way it fills you. I would say bread hot take implies something bad, but perhaps my bread hot take is that all bread is good. If it was a grain that was processed into the process of making bread, it is therefore good. That's my hot take. All bread is good. It is literally like the diametric opposite of gardens. Even the bread that I have never had. Maybe some bread is better than others, but nope. Just bread in general, it is a superior food. I began eating hard breads like in Lord of the Rings. Amazing. I like bread tough. Me too. That's the thing. I don't know necessarily demanding that it needs to be soft. I think in general, there's just something about what bread offers, and grains in general, that's just, it's different. It is a soft take. That's why I didn't think it was hard. I didn't think it was hot. How good's hardtack? I couldn't tell you. Sometimes I cover bread in olive oil, garlic, and various Italian seasons. Tastes like chocolate pizza. Spread into include pastries. Yeah, it would include pastries. It would include pasta. I would include pasta in that. Grains in general. And what's that? Hardtack. Oh, the covering in olive oil, garlic, and stuff. I'm actually very non-condiment. I wouldn't say I'm anti-condiment. I'm not like, ew, mustard. No, I get mustard occasionally. But I'm never like, oh no, I can't eat this without ketchup. Oh no. Like, I'm not like that. There is no condiment that I can think of that's like, I demand it. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I can't think of one. I guess icing on cake, but like I would still eat cake without icing if you gave it to me, but no one's gonna give it to me like that. And again, I'm not anti-condiment. I'm not gonna just not eat a burger because it has some fucking barbecue sauce on it. I like barbecue sauce. I'm just not gonna be like, oh my god, I could use some barbecue sauce, you know. I like a crunchy crust. I mean, folk cute, yeah. Sprouted bread is like a $10 loaf, though. Oh, I haven't been impressed with the traditional rosemary and faux cock. I don't know what you're talking about. You're in that bell curve in the middle there, Elisa, where you're starting to have opinions and like nuances and stuff, and starting to kind of be a little sour about bread. Maybe I'm reading too much into you, but I'm still in that baby. All bread's amazing. I can't eat pasta without ketchup. Pasta without... You have pasta with ketchup? I've had it with tomato sauce. I've had it with butter, cheese, ketchup? But ketchup? Nani? I need some condiment on my Subway subs. Hey, not a bread, but now I want Karelian pastry. Yeah, I don't care for condiments either, but then again, I haven't eaten an entire onion by itself with salt and pepper. That's fair. Depends how dry the meal is. Sour like sourdough. Cauliflower crust pizza's great. Tomato sauce is good too. Yeah, that's more like it. I wish I was consistent enough to keep my sourdough starter alive. Yeah, all right. So food was clearly an easy way to just distract myself to not read this article because I'm afraid of what they're going to say. However, sci-fi itself failed to catch on as an animated genre until the post-war period, particularly when Osamu Tezuka deliberately planned his Astro Boy as science fiction in reaction to the fantasies and fairy tales that dominated the medium. The medium of animation? I guess with Toei's films? But wasn't there Gulliver's Space Travels? Or was that after Astro Boy? I guess. But also, Tezuka, like, Astro Boy's a manga. Like, there's I don't know if that's necessarily a reason he chose Astro Boy, but it's like, oh, there's not a lot of sci-fi anime. I could fill a niche. I don't know if that was his motive. It could have been. Could have been certainly one of them. But, like, I kind of assumed it was just because it was the popular one. That was the one that could be most successful through serialization in an animated medium. You've never been Canadian, then eating macaroni with ketchup is our thing. Oh, of course it's your thing. Of course. You never know with these damn Canadians, man. I was about to make a very media, a very current events joke, but I will not. I will refrain. Just the things that I'm hearing about out of Canada these past few days has been interesting. Tezuka's clean, Spartan world also allowed for an extreme economy of animation, helping him to save money in the studio. Anime has favored science fiction ever since, not the least because more mundane genres can be less expensively reproduced with live action. Whereas the ability to integrate special effects so readily makes anime a better choice for greater, cheaper spectacle. I don't know if I agree with that read. I think I get what they're talking about. But that doesn't necessarily explain Mushi's later projects. It's not that they were exclusively sci-fi for that time. Heck, like before Astro Boy, you had Tales of a Street Corner, which isn't sci-fi. You know? Isn't Toei's first anime, like TV series, Ken the Wolf Boy? That's not sci-fi. Like, yeah, there's a good, healthy chunk of sci-fi, but it's not nearly as prevalent as they're saying it is, or the way that they're pitting it that way. And maybe this is a reason why they don't like slice of life, because they think it's like a waste of resources. Because it's like, well, why isn't this live action? You're wasting all this money animating it. Like, is that what they're doing? Anime has favored science fiction ever since, not the least because more mundane genres can be less expensively reproduced with live action. Whereas the ability to integrate special effects so rapidly makes it a better choice for greater, cheaper spectacle. One of the Alien Planet episodes in the Astro Boy anime is actually set on the dark side of the moon in the manga. There was so much mystery surrounding anything space back then that anyone would be interested. I think his thought process was, I am the goat, I'm going to do this. Sure. I vaguely remembering the tasting history vid on catsup being long oriental fish sauce. Tasting history is where I learned to just bake an onion by itself. Live action's wasting money on making a bunch of sets, hiring high-quality cameras, paying for expensive actors. Imagine being unable to enjoy aesthetics of a medium without filtering it through a cynical, capitalistic lens. I can't. Couldn't be me. The success of Astro Boy ushered in dozens of imitators. Dozens? Like 4. Dozens? Dozen. Certainly a couple. I'm not gonna say it never got fucking ripped off. Like, no shit. But like, I think this is exaggerating. Why can't we celebrate Astro Boy for things it actually accomplished and was radical for? You know? It issued in dozens of imitators, seemingly caught up in Japan's defeat by aliens and its subsequent reconstruction. I have never heard that take before. Astro Boy, the success of Astro Boy ushered in dozens of imitators, seemingly caught up in Japan's defeat by aliens and its subsequent reconstruction. So, like, their take is that, like, they were butthurt about being beaten in World War II, so they're just gonna, like, have alien invaders in Astro Boy. And how, Bob, I know you didn't watch all of 1963's Astro Boy, but how often are they attacked by aliens? Yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing the 60s project. The idea is that the decade is saturated with Astro rip-offs. The idea is that it's saturated with Astro rip-offs, and what do you say? What would you say is the reality? I know you're not done with your project, of course, but what would you say is the reality? What are you talking about? Colonial Brit projecting real hard. I'm just imagining Astro Boy looking like that Mexican alien now. Jeez. Like Superman, the heroes of Prince Planet and Space Ace are new arrivals on Earth, with quasi-magical powers or devices that can help their newfound allies. Like Gigantor and Big X, the Japanese emerge from World War II as the inheritors of a shameful history that may return to haunt them, but with great hope in industry and technology. Whereas Astro Boy began as little more than a high-tech Pinocchio with superpowers, he was also the ultimate playmate for the average Japanese boy. Love of robots reflected a faith in the future that was not always justified, most famously in Doraemon, in which a time-traveling rescue mission goes periodically awry, courtesy of inadequate materials. Also, I didn't see anything relating to their assessment in the Astro rip-offs. Yeah, it seems like the only ones that they're talking about are Prince Planet, Space Ace, Gigantor, and Big X are the rip-offs. Even though I would argue Gigantor is very different from Astro Boy, structurally. Maybe not Big X. And maybe not... I don't even register what Prince Planet is. And I'm familiar with Space Ace. I believe Space Ace was the first Tatsunoko one. But yeah, Prince Planet looks very Astro Boy-ish. But that's the thing, it looks at it. You just like see a screenshot of it and you're like, ah, it's Astro Boy. But you don't know really for sure. I have next to no knowledge about this show. It's so easy to assume that because you want to understand this stuff as quickly and efficiently as possible. Big X was closer to Testogen. Wow. All right. Well, the thing is, right, with Big X, isn't it true that there's like a duality? There's like a duality to Big X, where the kid, it's like a kid that can grow into Big X. Or is Big X big the whole time? Prince Planet is similar to Astro Boy in some ways, but I saw nothing related to being bitter over war. I think they're saying that the imitators are caught up in Japan's defeat by aliens. Because Prince Planet and Space Ace are new arrivals that help with their newfound allies. And then Gigantor and Big X emerge from World War II as inheritors of a shameful history. These shows don't seem like Astro Boy ripoffs. I've seen Gigantor, nothing like Astro Boy, really. Gonagai's Mazinger Z presented robots not as radio-controlled toys or android companions, but as pilotable machines. They didn't get the point that they didn't get the gotcha that you have, Bob, about there being a pilotable robot in Gegege no Kitaro, as well as one other show. There was one other title, I think, right? Not that this needs to be comprehensive, but it's a little predictable so far. Yeah, the kid grows into Big X. It was some experimental thing they supposed to use in the war, which is the same premise as 28. Right. Okay. So Gonagai's Mazinger Z presented robots not as radio-controlled toys or android companions, but as pilotable machines. Hereafter, the term robot is strictly speaking an inorganic gloss, liable to be used freely by children, but replaced with mecha by fans and academics who appreciate the distinction. Yeah. Astro Boy had a pilotable machine as well. It's fairly early too. Although, what they're saying there about the distinction between robots and mecha, honestly, most fans consider, at least that I'm aware of, most fans consider Tetsugen 28 a mecha series. They don't say that it's not. They kind of usually credit Yokoyama as the instigator of that. But here, they just lumped it in with Astro Boy as an Astro Boy ripoff, and then gave the credit to Go Nagai as like the creator of mecha or something. They don't really they don't strictly say Go Nagai is the creator of mecha, but like they certainly don't bring up Yokoyama. Despite this, the term robot continued to be used, even by creators, even when the machines in question were demonstrably not robotic. I mean, they are, but okay. Oh, yeah, you mean in terms of like the way Mazinger moves so unrobotically? It's not like just because it doesn't do that, it's not a robot? Like, is that what they're saying? Wait a minute. Robot continued to be used even by creators, even when the machines in question were demonstrably not robotic. How is Mazinger not robotic? Because it literally like moves like a person? And like, that's not robotic. The robots go eat-er. Like, I can't think of a reason why Mazinger isn't robotic. Like, genuinely. Or like any mecha that is not, that's piloted. It's like, wait, huh? Astro Boy had a pilotable machine as well. Oh, wow. Fairly early, too. Also, they mentioned 8-Man? They did not in this article so far. It's really hard for people to understand why sci-fi was popular when Astro Boy, Tetsugen, and 8-Man came out in the same year. Yeah, if they all came out around the same time of each other, even though Astro Boy was decidedly first. But that doesn't mean I don't know. Oh. By that logic, Ava unit aren't mecha, right? Yeah, because it's it's a creature. It's actually a creature in the robot. Sorry for spoilers for Ava. I feel like when we talk about genres, we need to be making a stipulation between genre and content indicator. I got the phrase content indicator from Mal, because they do have the separation of like the actual genres are comedy, drama, and horror and comedy. Yeah, you know, certain vaguer tones. Those are actual genres. But like, when you say we want to watch a mecha show, it isn't simply that we want to watch giant robots. I think we want to see the relationship of a character and in a power that he controls. We want to see large scale, action and adventure. Has a sci-fi bent to it. There are certain aspects of mecha series that are similar with each other that, is what we go to them for. It's not simply that it has a giant robot in it. Because I think there's some series, and this is more of a case of my argument I wanted to make with Magical Girls, where there are some Magical Girl series that if you recommend to depending on what Magical Girl series you recommend to someone, they might not actually enjoy it. Like, if somebody likes Symphogear, Nanoha, and Sailor Moon, are they really gonna like Sally the Witch? I don't know. Precure, I think, is just the best balance of that. And that's why I think it's ultimately the kind of successor and the perfection of Magical Girl series, where it does have a very calculated balance of the two aspects that Magical Girls have come to be, which is the everyday slice of life, solving your own problems, interpersonal relationships, growing up, as well as having power and a responsibility to the people around you and stepping up to defeat evil, which is something like Sailor Moon, I think in particular, is really, I think, should be credited for. I'm not going to say that I'm one who's seen a lot of the live-action Toku stuff that it's obviously taking from, but it feels like to me that it's notable that Usagi is a crybaby and someone that the girls watching can likely relate to in terms of someone who's a little ditzy, boy crazy, unserious, lazy, not a hero, not very heroic, but inheriting a power, becoming responsible, and becoming a hero, becoming someone responsible, becoming a mother, becoming a good partner, and a good team member, a good leader. You know what I mean? There's just something really cool about that. I don't necessarily know if Sailor Moon specifically does a great job in that transition. I know that's what it's going for. I don't think it's the most successful at it sometimes. It feels way too jarring occasionally to like that. There's no real growth, it feels like. But yeah, that's my nitpicky thing. But like, that sort of thing I think is what Magical Girls should take from. Not necessarily that they kick ass and everything like that. Not to say that Symphogear and Nanoha and these other ones I mentioned are all just that. But it's trying to look deeper, like, under the surface, and like, why are we actually doing this? Not just to sell toys or I have seen Yuki Yuna. Yeah. That's a good example, for sure. Precure's default in the template these days. There's a fair hook, negative, might have contrasted the whole Sukeban thing that was also happening. No, right, as a Sukeban contrast. Where the second one, I feel like the characters in that were way more headstrong already and just had the power and used it. And had the team dynamic, of course. Born hero versus becoming heroic. Yeah. Does Ultraman eventually become Mecha? I guess. Mecha is far more vague than they're giving it credit for. It's kind of like when people say that they want to watch a shonen anime, they mean I want to watch an action anime. Yeah, exactly. Battle shonen is a genre. It has become a genre. And it's not simply a content indicator, because there's so many different shonen. Like, you can get the same thrills out of Bakuman than you would Jujutsu Kaisen. Even though there aren't necessarily the same battles in Bakuman like there are in Jujutsu Kaisen, it's the same hierarchy, the system, the game, like gamifying it, the characters operating in that system, the themes that it's going for of achieving something with the power of friendship. And that's not to belittle it. When I say power of friendship, I do mean that, like, I feel like that's a genuine thing. Especially, like, having seen Naruto and One Piece. Like, it's not a singular mindset. It is always doing it for the sake of others and for yourself. But not just for yourself. And, yeah, victory and effort. Friendship, effort, victory. Language for genre has always been dumb. Same story structure, yeah. And it's always just kind of using you don't want to be just using this stuff as a way to boil it down and just to be able to understand all of it. Oh yeah, I get it. And like, oh, it's another battle shonen. Da 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 da. Like, nah. You want to be understanding it so that you can get a better understand it and you can enjoy it more. I'm loving the piss out of Fist of the North Star 2 right now because it clicked in my brain. I don't know specifically what it was, but I realized all of the good guys, like, they were actually, you know what really clicked it for me, and I didn't realize it until episodes later. There was a moment when Kenshiro is, fighting a guy who's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm a bounty hunter and I'm gonna kill you. And he stops. Like, Kenshiro does not just blow his brain out like everyone else, because he's like, you have someone you love. I'm not going to kill you. He defeats him, obviously. He kicks his ass. But he doesn't kill him, because he knows he has someone that he cares for and has someone in love. He has love. And it's obviously kind of Jesus-y, very messianic, the fact that Kenshiro can sense that. But it got me realizing every good character, every good guy in Fist of the North Star is good because they love somebody. Is because they have a friend or a love, either that's for a woman or for children or for their community or anything. All the good guys, every last one of them have love in their heart. And every last bad guy does not. Or, they do, and that's what turns them into redeems them as a good guy. And, Shin, for example. Shin is, the first major bad guy in Fist of the North Star. And I'm sorry to spoil it, but, most characters, this is what happens to them. Shin is obviously not a threat the entire time of the show. And at the end of his arc, Kenshiro does something that respects him. And the kids are like, why are you doing that? He put you through all this crap. He literally gave you the fucking scars on your chest. He stole your woman. And he's like, it's because he loved the same woman I loved. And I still remember that. It was 25 episodes of kind of a slog. It's a lot of anime original content that's very repetitive and everything. But that was the first moment I'm like, whoa. Yeah, and it was, incredible. But I get that. But, that's a battle shonen. Because it's dealing with friendship. Whether that's, a romantic friendship or a rivalry kind of friendship or something like that. Or brotherly friendship in the case of Kenshiro and Rao and Toki. etc., etc. Effort, victory, same kind of like through lines and everything. And not like they have to have all three of those. It really is just like that's really what makes it. Sorry, I love talking about Battle Shonen. Heading out. All right, see you, Annalisa. You get what if people with the regrettable disposition of needing to see something be hurt or die enjoy themselves? The competitive nature seems to be the appeal of most shonen anime in Japan, while in USA it's just seen for the violence and anger. That's a good point. Good observation, yeah. Those are edgelords. Which is endemic of how tons of Western fans and superhero in action. Not that violence has some morality to it, just that violence is badass. Actually, the main villains loved people too. Yeah, no, that's the thing. And that's really what, like, turns all of them into someone that's admirable, I think. Like, Souther is a really compelling villain. I would say he does have love, but, you know, like, there's ways that, like, characters are an antagonistic nature. Like, they're still antagonistic. But, like, Jaggy, for example, Jaggy's a full villain. He didn't have, I don't think he had any love at all. And it appears that Rao doesn't have any love. And it's not until, like, you get really deep into it, towards the end of the show as well, that is a little more complex. It's a great show. I love Fist of the North Star. I really want to make a video about it. Who do you ship in Fist of the North Star? Bat and Lin. Really bad, especially now that in the time skip. Obviously Kenshiro and Yuria, and Ray and the other girl. I don't remember her name. Yo-Yo's. Don't remember. No, it's all canon ships for me. I don't really ship any. I don't, in that show in particular. I don't necessarily ship anything that's a little creative. I was super impressed when Goku did the same thing. Yeah. Souther loved his master, for example. Right. Loved in all the wrong ways. Skip Kenshiro's fist to everyone's face. Right. Yeah, nobody cares about Jaggy, and Jaggy don't care about anybody. Right. I think it just shows that heroes and villains are separated by their responses, and that anyone can go one way or the other, which is why Kenshiro is kind of like Jesus. Yeah. I mean, like I said, even in Fist of North Star 2 with that bounty hunter, which is, it's bad that I forgot his name already. I really like that character, but I forgot his fucking name. The American, he's all American themed. He's like, I got a woman. He's so cool. Kenshiro could tell that even when he has negative, even when he's pitted as like kind of an antagonist, he puts it as like, yeah, you're not really in for it. You're just trying to protect someone. What's your biggest out-of-pocket ship any show? Oh no, I don't really think in those terms. I don't know. I don't really think I think in those terms. I'd have to look at my fucking, maybe LGH stuff. It's just like, even that, I can just be like, they're really good friends. That's just how I think. I'm sorry, I'm so heteronormative. I'm really heteronormative, to be honest with you. And it's not out of any malice of like, oh, I'm so homophobic or something like that. It's just that I just think that way. I don't know. When like there's really obvious, like, yeah, Sakura is bi. No, wait a minute. It's not Sakura that's bi. It's although I get, she could be. I think she's kind of more asexual, aromantic. I find her to be kind of aromantic. Like, she has the one crush on Yuki, I believe. Yeah. And then she just sees the other girl as like a good friend. Even though the other girl is very clearly gay for Sakura. Camera girl. But then, yeah, Shaolin or whatever. That's like, yeah, you're clearly bi, dude. Here, guys, in my heart is my log ship. Yeah, that's fair. I think if I had to choose one, it'd be. I'm leaning more towards Mittermeier and Royenthal. Hey Shabes, I'm learning homebrew Game Boy dev. How would you react to an anime reviewer game with you as a character? Kind of fun. Yeah. What kind of game is it? It's like a platformer? Is a visual novel type, like simulation? I don't want to say dating sim, obviously, but like, you know, narrative game. I don't know if you'd call it that. What kind of game is it? I'm interested. Anyway, more with this article that's annoying. Nagai's Getter Robo. Oh. Like, yeah, he co-created it, but it's not him. So annoying. I actually want to see if the original Getter, if he is the only person credited for the anime at least. Fuck on. This fucking video corner ad that ANN has up, always annoying. Dude, it's not even fucking disappearing. I need to get to the fucking search bar. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, the original TV show Getter Robo. Original creator, Go Nagai, Ken Ishikawa. Both of them. Both of them. And Go Nagai is credited as an original creator on Getter Robo, but nothing else. He did not do the story and art. He's done the story and art for most of his other stuff, like Devilman manga, story and art, and then the other OVAs and stuff, original creator. But he is not credited as an original. He's not credited for story and art on that fucking manga. It's fucking Ken Ishikawa. Get it fucking right. I know they're not wrong. They're not wrong. But I don't feel like I'm actually with this. I don't think I once mentioned Go Nagai in my Gurren Lagann video, referring to Getter Robo. It is Ken Ishikawa's work. It's Ken Ishikawa. Like, I'm sorry. I am thinking maybe simulation, but Animal Crossing style. Oh, wow, for like a Game Boy, a homebrew, like a Game Boy type Animal Crossing. That's really interesting. Because I'm always thinking about like the aesthetic, like the platform you're using. If it's a Game Boy game, that's, you know, I saw this Rogers Base. Rogers Base was playing a Switch game, like Cracker's Revenge or something. And he was commenting on how like this really does feel like a GBA game, a Game Boy Advance game specifically. Because it has the right sound effects, the right sound bank, the limitation, right? Because it's very tempting, I would imagine, to making a game like that, but with today's technology. You know, and you're like, I want to do this, right? And that's fair, but you have to think about the limitations. If it's to make it like, what makes it an authentic Game Boy game? But you can absolutely make it. I'm not saying you can't make an Animal Crossing style game on the Game Boy just because there was never a Game Boy game like that. I'm saying, like, I would hope you keep that in mind. I think it'd be interesting. Where you casually pick up anime, review them, etc. Oh, no way. That'd be fun. Undertale battle system, but instead of sparing you, give the enemies not good, decent, or best. Okay. That's fun. A little RPG-ish. I've seen a homebrew test demo of Game Boy version of Animal Crossing. Yeah. They could have just said Getter Robo without mentioning a creator. Yeah, they could have. No, but the reason they was because they're trying to make the connection like, oh, it's Mausinger and then Getter Robo. Because obviously they're mentioning the Getter Robo, they're all combining. That's the thing that it's known for as like the first one. Even though it isn't. It technically isn't. But it's the first one that matters. Also featured a regular transformation sequence in which separate modules would combine to form a super robot. Not only permitting the recycling of footage of the transformation sequence, but also encouraging the sales of not one but 3 tie-in toys. That was a double sigh. I feel like we're having way more invigorating discussion just doing this without even having to fucking read the article. What are we even here for? It's like we're like good job. You know, you're seeing some dude's fucking essay on giant robots, and we're like, yeah, good. Do they always mention the creator when talking about a show? No. Nope. N-O. Only when they care. Only when it's a big name. Tezuka Nagai. Just now in this article, they didn't say who the creator of Prince Planet or Space Ace was. Or Gigantor Yokoyama? Yokohama, sorry. Mitsutaro Yokoyama? I feel like they don't, so it's sometimes redundant when they do. There are Harvest Moon games on the Game Boy, so it's possible. Right. Which was co-created by Gona Guy would have been a better sentence. They wanted to mention him specifically. Right. Word count. It says a lot when we'd rather talk about bread. Yeah, it certainly does. Don't forget Miyazaki. They love Miyazaki. Well, you know, it's funny they didn't mention Miyazaki. They had an opportunity there. So I imagine they're gonna talk about fucking Howl's Moving Castle, or probably Laputa with the robots in Laputa. But we'll see. Maybe they'll bring him up. Maybe. There's also Future Boy Conan. But yeah, we'll see. The show was soon followed by a number of sequels. One sequel. It has one sequel. At least of the time. It had one sequel, and then, like, in the 90s, you had Get a Robo Go, which is, like, completely different. Like, very different from anything else. And then they had a couple of OVAs and side stuff when it was like, oh, this is Kenny Ishikawa's thing, not this other fucking Go to Guy guy. Some Gona guy. Yeah, my encyclopedia is just side content of the bread discussion. Right. The broadcast of Jerry Anderson's Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet in Japan. Yeah, Captain Scarlet! Dude, I have to show you guys the Captain Scarlet OP. I don't care if it's gonna get this stream banned. It's not that one. It's not the OP. It's the ED that's really good. I literally, like, have it saved somewhere. I have to get this right. Hold on. I do have to get this right. I have it saved on a playlist, but it's on my other account that I can't want to switch to because, you know. Hold on. I have to get this right. This is really good, though. It's worth it. It's worth it, I swear. So good. Come on. Come on. Here we go. Yes! Captain Scarlet ending credits. I want... Yeah, this one.
Grammarly now uses
Freaking
AI to help you
ad!
write, not just revise. Type a prompt.
Check this out.
Captain Scarlet.
I love how this is edited too. It's boom, 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 boom.
Captain Scarlet.
Yeah, this show is like a puppet, like a live action puppet type of thing. This is good. This interlude's so good. Very Gray.
Captain Scarlet.
The fucking sci-fi echo at the end there. Doesn't this sound like a show you want to watch right now?
Captain Scarlet.
God. I'm sorry I'm listening to the whole
Captain Scarlet.
Yeah!
Indestructible Captain Scarlet.
Super Marionation. Kind of a corny ending there, but yeah. Freaking awesome, right? Just need to... The OP is not as good. In my opinion. Yep, there he is. There's the boy. Oh no. Oh yeah, and then there's the AD, which is way more of a bop. Full fucking episode of Shout Factory. Look at the fucking sets and shit. Let's go. Look at that. Thomas the Tank Engine looking ass. Oh man. That's really cool. Yeah, that's how they deal with that. I believe every time they show a character using their hands, they just shoot live action hands. I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Yeah, yeah. Well, not really. Like they, obviously moving their hands like gestures, but if they do like a close up, I don't know. Like, oh, the sets are so cool. Oh! Holy shit! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They saved him just in the nick of time. Dude, I'm sorry. It's just so cool. It's just so cool. Very, very interesting. And like, it sounds fake. Like, I'm more thinking about the craft of like, wow, like the set and the composition, like shooting this and the storytelling with all the storyboarding and everything. Really interesting. And the imaginativity, of course. We should do one of those at Olive Garden. And when we're waiting for more bread, right? Insane animation. For the context, the ending is showing Scarlet dying various ways due to him being indestructible. Right. For kids, some of the deaths are pretty graphic. Reminds me of an old C64 game, Infernal Runner, which also had gruesome deaths. Yeah, yeah. Is Disney going to consider their own storefront now that Crunchyroll not sell live-action material? I don't know what they're going to think. But we still have Amazon, right? So, it's not the worst deal. Music loud. Yeah, sorry. Wait. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. My bad, fellas. I was too enthused. Geeked over Captain Scarlet. Let's move on. Ensured that by the 1970s, team shows fighting alien menaces were commonplace in live-action TV, combining the ensemble cast with the talents of miniature and model makers. In anime such as Skyers 5, this led to color-coded teams of youths, often a cookie-cutter composition of leader, maverick, token girl, token child, comic relief, and the other one. All right, like, look. So Skyers 5's 1967. That is pretty early. So saying that it's a Jerry Anderson thing originally and not like a Sentai thing, that's fair. There's Skyers 5. I just don't know. This first one. What is the first? What is the? The first is in 1975. Yeah. Go Ranger. Yeah. But I know where they're going with this. Where they're going to just start talking about, yeah, Battle of the Planets. As with the... But, like, it's interesting to think that Jerry Anderson's the origin point for Battle of the Planets, for those shows. Gatchaman does predate Power Rangers and Super Sentai, but, I mean, Kamen Rider. Actually, it does not predate Kamen Rider, because Kamen Rider, I believe, is 68. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just wonder if they are ever going to bring up the tokusatsu stuff. I don't think they are. As with the live-action shows post-dating Go Ranger, there you go. Okay, thank you. Such shows were also likely to be unified around an arbitrary theme. Cards, dinosaurs, or in the case of Battle of the Planets, birds who were also ninja. The underlying themes of disparate entities combining into a transcendent whole was seen not only as a wonderful metaphor for teamwork, but also as an excellent excuse to sell multi-part vehicle sets requiring all other elements to create one super toy. They cannot fucking resist bringing it up over and over again. I actually want to count. I now want to have a counter of how many times they bring up that it sells toys. Like, I have to give a fucking counter now. I'm just gonna go from the fucking beginning. I'm not gonna read it out loud, but I'm just gonna skim and see how often they bring it up. Toys. I'm also going to bring up, like, efficiency, like, cost efficiency. And toys. Toys. I start 2 so far. Multi-part vehicles, a super toy. 2. This is the second time. I guess I'm a little over-exaggerating. It's also, obviously, that's something they always bring up. That's the whole book. Star Trek helped encourage a similar galactic quest in Japan, in the form of Leiji Matsumoto's, or depending on which judge you obey, Yoshinobu Nishizaki's space battleship Yamato, which made it to America as Star Blazers. However, it would not do so until much later in 1979, after the worldwide success of Star Wars. Science fiction was the new fad, resulting in adaptations of classic American sci-fi such as Lensman in 1984, and Captain Future in 1978. Local competition came in form of Harlock, 1984. Harlock in 1984? It's 1978! The first TV series is 1978. But most notably in Gundam, 1979. I'm pretty sure they just skipped, like, the majority of the Super Robot. fandom now. They literally went from Mazinger. They went from Mazinger to Getter to Battle of the Planets. Yeah, Battle of the Planets specifically. To Space Battleship Yamato to Gundam. Alright. A franchise still running to this day. As is Astro Boy. As is Mazinger. As is Getter Robo. As is Space Battleship Yamato. The only one that really isn't doing anything recently is Gatchaman. But Gatchaman had something recently. It was the fucking Tatsunoko CG thing they were a part of. Like, where's Yatterman? Not here. Not here. But fair. Discotheque isn't on Canadian Amazon. Oh! Sorry. Everyone dunks on Mecha for being toy commercials, but nobody ever thanks it for having the greatest percent of anime originals, despite everyone complaining about how many bad manga adaptations there are. Yeah. Them talking about toys reminds me about Mother's Basement video, where he just randomly says, "That's capitalism for you." Ugh. Ugh. That's literally how they were able to fund Astro Boy. Connect him to a fucking chocolate company, and then sell his rights to NBC Universal. That's how they were able to get Astro Boy done, like funded. But you don't seem to bring that up every 5 seconds. Featuring angst-ridden combatants and giant robots. Because Koji Kabuto from Mazinger Z is not an angsty, angst-ridden combatant. No, siree. Oh, man. Featuring angst-ridden combatants and giant robots, Gundam codified the concept of the new type. How about the first giant robot where the villain, the bad guys, were humans piloting robots? That's kind of a big deal. Because, like, even in like, Voltes and all these other shows, which the opponents are humanistic, they're human-like, they're still aliens. The Zeon are not aliens. The baby boom generation, known as the new breed in Japan, was thus allegorized as a literal evolutionary leap. Humans with psychic powers, radically different in abilities and expectations from generation that preceded them. That's really funny. That's actually really fun, because like they're not wrong. Because like the age of the age demographic for 1979 of like teenagers, they were born in the 50s. So they are boomers. So they really are. They really just equated the new types to the baby boomer generation. Like, we are the next we are the literal evolutionary leap. Wow, that's funny. New type achieved a currency equivalent to that of slan in early American SF fandom, or otaku in modern anime. It remains the name of the world's best-selling anime magazine. Capitalism is what allows them to be made in the first place. If you're going to argue that something is bad because it has a plan to make money, then what's left? Yeah, pretty much. Although, maybe they're making the argument that, like, we're not saying that's a bad thing. We're just pointing it out. It's the issue of, like, the fact that they're always pointing it out as if that's the inception every single time. A lot of these things are just to promote the manga and everything. But just, it's one thing to point that out, and another to use it as a cudgel of like, it's just another thing to sell toys. You know, it's that connection where it's like, oh, it's just to promote the manga. That's when it's like, okay, shut up. It's like, all right, we don't care. They're not saying anything of substance. This is not a criticism that you're giving, but you're still being dismissive. Gundam's only real rival was Macros. I don't wholly disagree, but it is obfuscating that Gundam did not get popular immediately. It was not popular immediately. You'd think that they would mention that. That it was canceled. You know? But okay. I'm not against criticism against capitalism, but if the comment is that shallow, just pointing it out isn't anything. They're attributing it a higher level of importance than the tons of other things they've overlooked. Yes. Which kept with the pilotable robots, although these could transform into space fighter planes. I'm pretty sure Gundam could as well. It wouldn't turn into the plane, but it would be, they would send the parts to them through a plane, I believe. And introduce the concept of defeating an enemy by singing at them. That's so that's so weird. Like when they say Macros introduced the concept of defeating an enemy by singing at them. The concept offered considerable potential for new merchandise formats, spin-off albums. Merchandise and merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. Dude. Dude. Defeated the enemy. Yeah. Introduced the concept of defeating an enemy by singing at them. Yeah, and like 2 other anime have done that. Other anime within Macros, other Macros titles, and Symphogear. I can't think of other ones. Like, when you phrase it as introduced the concept of, you would think it's something that it actually contributed to the genre that others would like embody and like take from. But it doesn't. What would you say Macros did introduce that was something that would later get used more? I'm thinking about it. My first thought was Roy Fokker. A character that... Little spoilers, of course. A character that the main character looks up to and is removed from the story after a point. You know? I think that gets used a lot in other mecha series. Outlaw Star, Gurren Lagann, Nadesco, other stuff like that. I'll give you 48 as well. Fair. Gonna go public due to a certain alien frog coming along. Back to work, good bread stream. Thumb up to the stream, you'll be. Thank you so much, Bob. But it's been years since I've watched that show, so I may be wrong. That's fair, Aochi. It is good to see you, by the way. Gosh. Votoms also offered an angle on real robots, introducing the notion of a robot as merely a tool in a military arsenal. Yeah, they are literally equating Votoms as the instigator of real robots, and not Gundam. I think, okay. No, they're not really saying that. They're not really saying that. It said it also offered, but they certainly didn't mention real robots when they brought up Gundam. I'll read the Gundam part again. Most notably in Gundam, a franchise still running to this day, featuring angst-ridden combatants and giant robots, Gundam codified the concept of the new type. The baby boom generation, known as the new breed in Japan, was the new type. That's all they talk about. They don't talk about it being a real robot thing. So when you read Votoms is the first time they bring up real robots, it feels like that's the one that actually did it. Which is not entirely true, is it? Yeah, they literally say, like, hereafter, Votoms, hereafter, the real robots largely replaced the super robots of earlier genre shows like Mazinger. Largely replaced the super robots of earlier genre shows like Mazinger. So hereafter, 1983. So post 83, the robots became more realistic, even though none of them are realistic, to be fair. Yes, I am trying to think of counterexamples. I will say, to be fair though, I really don't have that much experience with that. A lot of the '80s ones, I haven't seen a lot of Takahashi stuff like Leisner or Dragoon, Great Panzer Dragoon or something like that, or VFOM, a couple others in that area, but like. It wasn't that long of a stretch when they say hereafter, it largely replaced super robots. I don't fully agree with that. Because a lot of the super robot stuff stayed alive. You had Govarian. You had a couple stuff from that area. And then I think maybe Govarian was 83, so technically not hereafter, I guess. But I'm just thinking the Brave series. I'm just thinking of other super robots, you know, more mythical stuff. I don't know if I would quantify Evangelion as a real robot. I was about to mention Tedesco, Logun, and more all definitely did the same mentor thing. G Gundam, yep. I've been here the whole stream, but I've been listening to it in the background. Oh, that's fair. Yay, magazine interviews. What if you don't mind sharing? What you been working on? Although Gundam and Macross presented some fresh angles on perennial themes, and Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind was a landmark in cinemas, anime sci-fi only truly came into its own through video? What makes them say that? What makes them say that? It does perfectly fine without video before OVAs. It certainly had a new output, but what? Hello, P. Goat. Yeah. It was the arrival of the video recorder that brought the potential for true science fiction as opposed to the limited sci-fi of television. What kind of bullshit is that? What kind of grandiose statement is this? The video was the arrival of the video recorder that brought the potential for true science fiction as opposed to the limited sci-fi of television. I'm sorry. There was a difference between they are literally be going like let me put this in the chat. Ugh, can I please put this in the chat? Like, they're literally going this is real sci-fi. Literally, true science fiction as opposed to the limited sci-fi. Explain, movie. Please elaborate. I will let them go. Read ahead. Please keep reading. All right. After the early experiment of Dalos, science fiction was established as a strong part of the anime world, with works including Megazone 23, Bubblegum Crisis, and the first Appleseed. Video sci-fi, video SF, came into its own with Gunbuster, a super robot anime. Are they really trying to be like, Gunbuster is true science fiction, unlike the sci-fi of television? Are you kidding me? Like, you cannot. I love Gunbuster. I love Gunbuster. You cannot just say that. You cannot just say that. No. No. That's an awful take. That's Garbo. You're being Garbo. That's so stupid. Conceived in loving homage to the sci-fi of the 60s. Yeah, all right. I certainly would say that, but like, you can't just be like, it's when video became true science fiction. Gunbuster. No. Okay. And Pat Labor, 1989. All right. That's a TV show. It was an OVA, yes. But there's a 47 episode TV show. Why did we have to make the distinction? Egg on your face. I haven't seen Megazone 23 or Bubblegum Crisis. Technically not even seen Appleseed, even though I did the chapters for that one time. Confusing. This is actually way more pretentious than I'm just realizing, because they do have the distinction of real robot and super robot, but this is way more out of pocket. This is way funnier. I've never actually heard this, like, there's real robots and super robots, and there's a difference between science fiction and sci-fi of TV. I'm drawing the. I'm rejecting your offer here. I'm saying no. I'm out. I'm out. I'm not about to accept that. There's a difference between science fiction and like elitism. Actual bleed, die in the wool elitism. Goodness gracious. Oops, all sci-fi and robots. Right. I'm sorry I've been on Voyage Digest this whole time. Technically, I've been reading science fiction and wrote science fiction, not sci-fi. God. Produced in an independent Pat Labor. Produced in an indignant reaction to the brutal apocalyptic world envisioned by Mad Max 2: The World Warrior and Fist of the North Star? Pat Labor was produced in an indignant reaction to the brutal apocalyptic world envisioned by Mad Max 2 and Fist of the North Star. What? Pat Labor was produced in an indignant reaction to the brutal apocalyptic world envisioned by Mad Max and Fist of the North Star? Source? Citation needed? Citation demanded? I'm sure there's a source. Maybe they interviewed Headgear And Headgear was like, you know, we saw Mad Max and Fist of the North Star, and we're like, that's kind of a brutal look at the future. We kind of want to do something a little more realistic. That would be fine! Interesting! What is this? Like, this feels like you're making it up! Honestly, they do not have my trust here. They don't. SF also flourished in cinemas in the form of 2 productions for which critical success came far in advance. Can you imagine if we did that this like 4 hours into the stream on Friday? I would have died. I wouldn't have not cared. This passion wouldn't be here. It's almost been 3 hours, and we've only done like 7 articles on these 2 fucking things. Oh man. Sci-fi also flourished in cinemas in the form of 2 productions for which critical success came far in advance of actual profits. Wings of Honemies and Akira. Notably, this period also saw the beginning of the long-running LOGH, a video series that survived primarily through subscriber orders, largely bypassing even video stores. Yeah. In the 1980s, Japan, and particularly Tokyo, became a motif in sci-fi all its own. The future metropolis of William Gibson's novel Neuromancer, and the Asian influence on the Los Angeles of Ridley Scott's Blade Runner, helping to create further interest abroad in science fiction from Japan. In seeming inverse correlations to Japan's rising power on the world stage, the robots got smaller. 5-star stories. Giant Robo in 1991. Again, the Brave series. The hulking, city-stomping behemoths of old reduced in size, evolving into the smaller personal vehicles of Mos Peada, and the feminized hard-suit armor of Bubblegum Crisis. The thing is, I don't know if I would consider Bubble Suit. Is it a mecha or is it a power suit thing? You know? Perhaps creators had less to prove, or, in the age of the Sony Walkman, saw that miniaturization was the new cool. Hey, what was running in, what was Sunrise making in, like, 1985, 86, 87? What was it called? Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam? Double Zeta Gundam? What year did Char's Counterattack come out? I'm sorry to actually you, but, like, what is the use of making these grand statements and just trying to, like, oh, like the Sony Walkman, they, like, it's cool. What point are we bringing it towards? What are we really learning about sci-fi and robots here? You know? I don't know if they're gonna bring up the Brave series at this point. I'm skimming, I actually don't see it. I actually don't see them. Okay. Realizing that a primarily male audience would rather watch scantily clad girls, science fiction gained increasing numbers of female characters until, after a decade of the likes of Dirty Pair and Soul Bianca, it was male characters that became the token cast members. This is what's really weird about lumping science fiction and mecha into one thing, because they're trying to correlate both, and in trying to make this claim that, like, After a decade of the likes of Dirty Pair and Soul Bianca, it was the male characters that became the token cast members. Akira. When did Venus Wars come out? Giant Gorg? That was 84, but like... I don't get it. Hey, by the for what it's worth, they did mention Nausicaa, but they did mention Miyazaki. Dang, no Braves. Is this article a pigeon? Blade Runner motifs returned in the android women of AD Police, Armitage III, and Ghost in the Shell. Hideaki Anno's Watershed Evangelion. Yeah, they're not going to talk about the fucking Brave Shiro, are they? Was intended as the final word on the tropes and cliches of the giant robot genre, but instead ushered in another cycle of imitators such as Brain-Powered and Razafon. As the millennium approached, yeah, no, fuck. They just completely jumped over the 90s. The only thing they haven't brought up was fucking Ava. And Ghost in the Shell, I guess. All right. As the millennium approached, Japanese sci-fi also began to look backward. Oh, there's Giant Robo. Both to the retro camp of shows like Giant Robo and Super Atragon, and the martial fervor of Kishin Core and Sakura Wars. Cowboy Bebop stood out in the crowd simply for its sense of style. It began life as a sunrise show deliberately written without giant robots. A refreshing change in a medium that seems to be overrun with them. You haven't mentioned You mentioned Ava and Giant Robo. You really don't make it seem like it was overrun with them when they're like, you phased them out. You make an argument that they phased them out. Which is it? Encyclopedia, there seems to be a little information and a lot of nonsense. Yeah, Zach, well, I've been dealing with this nonsense for 2 years. Rip Go Gagar. Zach sounds like a YouTube video. Oh. It would get flamed. Eviscerated if it was a YouTube video. Like, get out of town. Like, pack it up. Unsubscribe. Holy crap. No Braves is a bummer. I get it. Whatever. Modern science fiction anime occupy a gloriously wide selection of niches. From the intimate sensuality of Chobits to the dingy, dirty, low-orbit world of Planetes and the existential rebellion of Blam. The Wachowskis' The Matrix may have set many of the standards of modern-day media sci-fi, but it did so in a manner that built on anime. Its inspirations and homages can be clearly seen both in the continuing hard SF explorations of the Ghost in the Shell franchise and in the large number of Japanese contributors to the Animatrix. That is the end of the article. They did mention LGH. No, they did. Notably, this period also began the beginning of the long-running LGH, a video series that survived primarily through subscriber orders. They do mention LGH. In fact, they don't mention any sci-fi militaristic shows. There's no Crest, no. Nah, people would believe it because YouTube audiences are very go. Yeah. Sounds right. I don't know shit. Maybe that's why this book really hasn't gotten any pushback. Besides, like, the people, like, the hardcore people, they were like, maybe don't read it. that I did hear before reading it myself. And they didn't even read all of it. Oh, my head. I don't know if my head hurts from the book or from eating too much bread. It can't be the latter. It can't be the latter. Bread is great. Bread is perfect. You can't fucking... No, it can't be the bread. Bread can't be the problem. But you know, bread is so good, I should save some for later. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was that article. Couldn't find any interesting observations from the 2000s. Nothing at all. This was written in 2015. A whole decade had gone by. They completely skipped over. Oh my god, I think I have deja vu. Holy shit. They completely, all they can say about the 2000s was it's a wide variety. Chobits, Planetas, Blam, and the Animatrix. They really don't give a shit about fucking Mecha. I really think that they were just like, it's a nuisance. Oh, thank God it was phased out over here. Oh, thank God Bebop actually managed to stand out. Well, it's a merit. They literally gave it a merit because it was deliberately made without giant robots. They call it a refreshing change in a medium that seems to be overrun with them. What other bigger indictment is there? What bigger indictment is there? This show's good because it doesn't have giant robots in it. Like, okay. And was Bebop going to be worse to you because it had a giant robot in it? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Oh my god. Where's Robot Carnival? Maybe that disproves their point about science fiction versus sci-fi on TV. Jesus. What did that article even say? It just gave you a rundown, a little parade. Every time they do this, it's so bad. It's so substanceless. Waste of time. I actually cannot think of a single thing that was like, wow, I didn't know that. Interesting. Maybe there was, and I can't remember. Because everything else was fucking rage-inducing. The one thing was the earliest to the very beginning of the art. It's, again, the thing that they're good at. The niche that none of us have any idea about. But the way they talk about this other stuff so generically and assumably, like, you know, generalist, what makes me worry about the early stuff. Like, how true is it that they're saying about the earliest stuff from the 30s? Ogino's amateur film, Kyakumen no Go Aruhi. I want to say that that's right. I want to, like, trust them that that's correct. And it probably is. But if this is how they treat everything else, how am I supposed to believe that? The Blam market was the late 90s. Yeah, but they mentioned the Blam's anime. They're talking about Blam 2003. Yeah, the short that came out. Definitely takes priority over everything else. Yeah, because it's an anime encyclopedia, Hayden, come on. Memories. Yeah, good, very good example. Because, like, is Magnetic Rose science fiction or sci-fi on TV? Which is it? I actually would be interested if the whole article was to try to define what science fiction is versus sci-fi on TV. I would love to know. Anyway. Not gonna get any answers like this. After all that, now we have to read about sports anime. Oh my god, I can't keep scrolling. That's... Holy shit. Where is it? So much S. I can't believe we read all this. Can't believe we read this entire fucking book! Spook. Oh, there we go. Sports anime. Staying up for this. Thank you. Thank you. Balls. Brace for it, Beck. Yeah, how can you? You just gotta jump right in. Sports anime have formed a vital part of the medium since its earliest days. Here we go. Well, the sublimated conflict of a sporting event, allowing both dramatic tension and a finishing line for which the opponents can strive, is readily appreciable by a younger audience. What a nerd. Sports can be appreciated by children because I have a goal to achieve. I'm sorry. I say similar things about like Battle Shonen and shit like that, but this is just... I'm sorry. This first sentence was just such a nerdy way of putting it. One of Aesop's fables was adapted by Sanai Yamamoto in a single reel, Tortoise and the Hare, in 1924. But the first identifiable sports anime was Yasuji Murata's Animal Olympics, in which a duck successfully wins the 800-meter gold, beating a bulldog, hippo, and camel. Inspired by the Amsterdam Olympics of the same year, but played largely for laughs, the short film also includes a polar bear attempting to pole vault, and a cheating pig whose attempt to win the hurdles with the aid of a balloon is brought crashing back down to earth through the intercession of an elephant's well-thrown javelin. It's really funny to hear him describe this, the plot. I just want to read this again in his accent. Oh man, because I know John Clements wrote these mainly. Also includes a polar bear attempting to pole vault, and a cheating pig whose attempt to win the hurdles with the aid of a balloon is brought crashing back down to earth through the intercession of an elephant's well-thrown javelin. What really does it is the crashing back down to earth through the intercession of an elephant's well-thrown javelin. Looked up Animal Olympics. Looks very well animated. Cool. Oh, as war loomed in the 1930s, sports anime ironically clung to an American import, with animals competing again in Yasuji Murata's Our Baseball and Seiji Harada's Baseball in the Forest. Yeah, firmly supported as a wholesome pursuit by the post-war occupation forces, the game returned in Sanai Yamamoto's Animal Great Baseball Battle in 1949. Can you read these articles in a British accent? No. I would like to. It's just I would be worried that like sounds like I'm making fun of it the whole time, which isn't entirely wrong even without the accent. But I just want to say it as if I'm mocking it, but even though I was just now. But I was mostly mocking the writing, okay? Intercession of an elephant's well-thrown javelin. The intercession of an elephant's well-thrown javelin. Just, I don't know, it's funny. The same year saw Hideo Furusawa's Sports Tanuki, in which a Japanese raccoon dog competes as a jockey in a horse race. Ooh, learning about the first baseball anime. Yeah, this is great, isn't it? I really always think these are the best stuff. Real-world sporting events, particularly ones such as baseball, pro wrestling, or sumo, which can be covered by a single unmoving camera, were early ratings draws for live-action TV, which had the effect of discouraging animators from attempting to replicate them. Real-world sporting events, particularly ones like baseball, pro wrestling, and sumo, which would be covered by a single unmoving camera, were early ratings draws for live-action TV, which had the effect of discouraging animators from attempting to replicate them. Early TV producers followed the lead of Osamu Tezuka in Astro Boy, who saw that anime's true potential lay in showing audiences sci-fi and fantasy. The thing we talked about earlier with, like, the reason they chose sci-fi was because live-action TV couldn't do it. Things they would not get so easily from live action. Like, literally what I just said. Yeah. However, experiments in anime sports inevitably followed the national hysteria surrounding the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. Yeah, literally like a year later. In which the Japanese women's volleyball team took an unexpected gold medal. This success would generate a vast wave of sporting manga, which, once proving their popularity in print, would tempt producers to buy the rights for anime adaptations. Although the protagonist of Harris's Wind dabbled in many different disciplines, first true TV sports anime did not arise until Star of the Giants. Tellingly, a show about the real-life Yomiuri Giants baseball team, part owned by the same conglomerate that also owned the broadcaster NTV. It's also a manga, by the way. I think it's ironic, but they're like Tellingly, a show about the real-life Yomiuri baseball team, part owned by the same conglomerates that owned the broadcaster NTV. Yeah, they don't even mention that it's based on a manga. Giants pioneered techniques that have become mandatory in modern anime. Framing a sporting contest with the zooms and freeze frames of martial arts combat. Framing a sporting contest with the zooms and freeze frames of martial arts combat. Or, you know, like media. Has there never been a baseball movie before Star of the Giants? Like, I don't know much about Japanese cinema, but like, how else are you filming it? Like, it's so novel. They zoom in on the characters. Like, that's just fiction. I thought that I agree that Star of the Giants has a lot of pioneered techniques, but I would imagine it has to do with animation and not direction storyboarding of framing a sporting contest with zooms and freeze frames of martial arts combat. With the zooms and freeze frames of martial arts combat. Before long, many sports were represented in anime, including... That's it? That's all they're going to talk about with the innovation of Star of the Giants? I could have sworn they had way more. I haven't read about them in a while, but like the way that Anime Toots has talked about Star of the Giants with the directing techniques and the storytelling techniques that they used, we're pretty innovative. We're pretty important. But like... including volleyball in Attack Number 1, wrestling in Animal 1 and Tiger Mask, boxing in Tomorrow's Joe, soccer in Red-Blooded 11, kickboxing in Kick Fiend, tennis in Aim for the Ace, and the self-evident A Karate Crazy Life and In Praise of Judo. Almost all gravitated toward the common sports story. They're just going to generalize all of them now. Literally, you have to think about it. Fucking Attack Number 1, Animal 1, Tiger Mask, Joe, Red Blood 11, Kick Fiend, Aim for the Ace, Karate Life, and In Praise of Judo almost all gravitated toward the common sports story. Plucky outsiders winning against overwhelming odds, often in the face of personal bewilderment. Sorry, not bewilderment. Personal bereavement with family members and coaches seeming to have the life expectancy of the average rock drummer. Later seasons would replay the same story, but at a regional, national, or international level. In an interesting curio, Road to Munich in 1972 used animation in order to bypass Olympic competition restrictions concerning the use of players' images for professional purposes. I haven't heard of Red Blood 11 before. Yeah. Like, there's certain commonalities here. I'm not gonna deny that. But like, it's fiction. Again, this is all like stuff that you would just kind of do as a fictional story, and all of them have slight differences that create a completely different show. I would recommend people who watch Ashino Joe watch Aim for the Ace, but not because they're both sports, but because they're both by Dazaki, with his direction and everything. But like tonally, they're not the same show. Like, they're just not. I don't know if that many Joe fans would really like Aim for the Ace. Maybe some of them will. But like, I certainly like Aim for the Ace. I love both of the shows, but I like them for different reasons. Not because of the sports similarities. As merchandising began to play a bigger role in anime production, sports anime began to favor activities that offered better toy potential. You have got to be kidding me. It's here too? Sports anime began to favor activities that had better toy potential. Most notably vehicular stories such as Speed Racer and Machine Hayabusa and Arrow Emblem in 1977. Baseball shows made a brief return in the late 70s, only to be drowned. Any examples? They say that they make a brief return in the late 70s, only to be drowned in the merchandise-oriented sci-fi and fantasy of the 1980s. Which? Where? I agree, but like what? With most sports now regulated to one-shots or videos like Pro Golf or Saru, baseball's hung on by introducing romance, particularly in series based on the words of manga creator Mitsuru Adachi, with Mikuru in 83, 9 in 83, Touch in 85. I thought like you were talking about late 70s. A brief return, like you're talking about. Also, Touch is 85? Damn. I thought it was 81. Fair enough. Yeah, it's 85. Damn. I would have gotten that wrong on my quiz. Other producers embraced commercial pressures with original cunning. Other producers embraced commercial pressures with original cunning, making shows with improved foreign sales potential. Such as the soccer favorite Captain Tsubasa? Producers embraced commercial pressures with original cunning, making shows with improved foreign sales potential. I didn't think Captain Tsubasa was made in a boardroom. That's news to me. I thought it was a Shonen Jump manga, which sure has editors and magazine had like leaders that are like, we're deciding whether to keep it in the fucking magazine. But this makes it sound like it was done by committee, some cynical like, ooh, the kids will like We can merchandise foreign sales with Captain Tsubasa. Like, what? Which had guaranteed export audiences around the world, despite comparably little domestic interest. Okay. The more merchandise-oriented used sport as their excuse rather than their reason. The more merchandise-oriented used sport as their excuse rather than their reason, with Olympic mascot shows like Eagle Sam and Misha the Bear Club, or completely unrelated releases that sought to exploit newfound awareness of the event locations. It is no coincidence that 12 months went into production the year of the Moscow Olympics, nor the Yawara enjoyed a revival in time for Atlanta. I think that's a coincidence, but okay. Arguably the most successful use of sports anime cliches of the late 80s was not a sports anime at all, but the sci-fi pastiche Gunbuster! John, you're making me sick. I don't know if he said a single positive thing about other sports anime, and the only thing, the most successful use of sports anime cliches was in Gunbuster. Oh my god. Get off the dick! Canimo. Donoris di l'erba. I don't know if you guys got that Princess Diaries reference. Tepe, Ipatsu Kantakun, Yakuta no Ota, Ikkyu-san, Ganbare Bokura no Hit and Run, Shin Kyoja no Hoshi, Ganbare Tabachi-kun. These are all the late 70s baseball anime I could find. Cool. Thank you for listing them. But of course, it was probably because they didn't have any name recognition that they didn't bother listing them. Which even modeled its heroines' uniforms on those of the 1964 Japanese gymnastics team. I did not know that. Look, I always appreciate John's like commentary and the stuff that he knows about Gunbuster in particular. But like, like of course he's gonna bring up fucking Gunbuster. Since the early 90s, sports anime, you also have late 70s. Oh, that's just baseball anime. Yeah, that's fair. Sports anime have featured periodic revivals of baseball, soccer, and volleyball, among a scattering of ever stranger attempts to push the envelope with more obscure pursuits, such as the fishing of Grandar from 1998. What an insult, that one fishing anime that I don't know the name of. That's funny. I'll admit that's ironic. You don't even know the name of it, bro. I know. I've been meaning to watch it. The manga looks incredible. Forgot the name of it, though. 1982 or so? Fishing? Ipats something? Go look at my, like, the length of shows, because it's a fairly long show. Surichiki Sanpei. Surichiki Sanpei from 1980. 109 episodes about fishing. And the cover is, like, the art for this, if you're not familiar with this, Weird Proc or the other guys, it's Kishi Sanpei. Sanpei. Look, it's a show I haven't seen yet, alright? But, like, this shit is so aesthetic. Yeah, that's like the cover art on fucking Kitsu. It's like, holy shit, that's so nice. Oh, yeah. Oh. That's more like, that's what I'm talking about. Some of the art is like super photorealistic and everything. I don't know. It's just like, oh, it looks so good. I could probably get better ones if you did the Japanese name, but whatever. Anyway, you get the idea. Sanpei, right. I was just about to mention Sanpei. David was watching Sanpei a while ago. Looks pretty sick. Nice. This is what I was thinking about. Yeah. Such as fishing in Grandar 1998, or the speedboat racing of Monkey Turn in 2004. Producers have also shied away from real-world games, preferring fantastical concoctions such as Battle Athletes and Eye Shield 21. Producers have also shied away from real-world games in preferring fantastical concoctions such as Battle Athletes and Eye Shield 21. The British, you see, they don't believe that American football is real. Like, I know it has some supernatural ability to it, but it's no different from fucking a ton of other sports anime, including Star of the Giants, where, like, he has this super special pitch. Like, that's just a sports trope. There's nothing outlandish about that. Isn't I should? Yeah, it's American football. My dude's soccer is sci-fi. Oh, God. Modern children nowadays. Oh, kids these days? You're really dropping a kids these days bar on me, John? No! Don't tell... No! No! They literally go, modern children nowadays. They're like... No, John, you just said kids these days. It doesn't matter if you worded it a little more eloquently. You just kids these days this article. Oh, man. Oh, God. Modern children nowadays are less likely to play catch than they are to engage in more sedentary activities. Boomer! Boomer! No! Kids these days don't want to play catch anymore. No! Come on. The only reason they're bringing this up is so that they can easily translate into the other shows they want to mention, but still, it's... More to engage in sedentary activities, such as the board gaming of Hikaru no Go, or the pachinko of the same year's Pashilo Kizoku Gin. Though Prince of Tennis, also 2001, bucked the trend. Anyone want to come up with some sports anime from the 2000s? I mean, Jesus, Slam Dunk. They didn't even fucking mention Slam Dunk. They haven't even brought up Slam Dunk at one time. That's why I had it like this at first. I'm like, oh, smiling. Yeah, they don't mention Slam Dunk. At least I don't see it. But I mean, yeah, okay, Slam Dunk's 93. Sure. Not really the frame of... Not really the sports... Major! Well, Major's 2006. The act of playing with a computer has itself become the subject of anime inquiry, from Running Boy to BPS. The greatest change, however, has been in a marked increase in martial arts tales, thanks to their relation to computer gaming, the ubiquitous Street Fighter II and its clones. It could be also argued that collecting is the new sport. No. 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 You are not. You are not. No mention of Epo. No. Guess what they mentioned instead as like, oh, this is kind of the new sports anime, isn't it? It could be also argued that the collecting is the new sport, be it of digitized monsters in Pokemon, or of cards in Duel Masters. This is the sports anime article that cites Pokemon and Duel Masters as sports anime, but don't seem to discuss Slam Dunk. I'm not like looking for a definitive list or anything. I'm really not. What about this show? I don't know. What about the highest grossing sports manga ever? And what about the one that ran for over 100 volumes, huh? 120 volumes now? Ippo? Like, Capita is also good. Oh, they hate Capita, dude. You remember that they fucking thought about Capita. They don't give a shit. Skating Ring Kaleidoscope's also great. I'm not familiar with that one. Where's my boy Hanamichi? Yeah. Sports even made its way into erotica. In the form of the volleyball-themed Angels on the Court and the rhythmic gymnastics of Princess 69. In the postmodern 21st, like, it's going to be very funny to be like, here's the titles they talked about in the sports anime section. I'm sorry I'm back on Voyeur's digest for some reason. I don't know why I keep clicking back onto that. In the postmodern 21st century, sports anime often seem incorporated within the compass of everyday anime. Really? In the postmodern 21st century, sports anime often seem incorporated within the compass of everyday anime, in which the real world of physical sports and human contacts are valorized and approached with an almost anthropological fascination, like the activities of some primitive lost tribe. In which the world of physical sports and human contacts are valorized and approached with an almost anthropological fascination, like the activities of some primitive lost tribe. Word salad at the end. My favorite. We might consider anime such as Bamboo Blade in this context, not so much reflecting the real world as pleading with viewers to go out and find it. Is this Cardcaptor or Sakura music? No. It is Moomin music. Literally Moomin music. Literally that. Tanoshi Mumenika. Good to see you, silly serpenties. Serpentines. Yeah. I'm sorry. They're serpentines. Appo World is an interesting wrestling anime. It's based on a real person who passed away 3 years after the movie came out. Wow. Oh, that last part sounded just like a track from it. Oh yeah, that's fair. Slam Dunk is fine, but get in the battle, Duel Masters, who's the kid with the slimy hair. Yeah. there was a chance there for them. You know, I would have accepted them talking about sports anime in the context of its evolution towards battle shonen, because sports anime was such a successful. They didn't even mention fucking Kinnikuman and Ring Nikakuro, both of which would be progenitors of what we would come to know as battle shonen, with Fist of the North Star and Dragon Ball kind of being more like martial arts, but taken strictly out of a competition sports environment for the most part. With the case of Dragon Ball, there's still tournaments, but the Tenkaichi World Martial Arts tournaments. I love the Dragon Ball dub. The original series is Funimation dub. The narrator of that is like, and Chi-Chi, and Bulma, and Master Roshi. He always had this like inclination to his voice. It was so funny. Oh, uh-oh. What'll Goku come up with this time? It's really funny. Spiky hair. It also has a strong song from Sho in it. His only other performance is in Shonen Box Osaku. Wow. Oh yeah, Kinnikuman has inspirations from real wrestlers too, so it would have made sense to bring it up here. Yeah. But like, you know, I make this argument. I haven't made this argument actually yet. I was gonna be in my Naruto video, and then I realized it was way too broad of a topic that I was like, I'm not about to download all this other fucking footage. I want to get this shit done. But I have a script about Battle Shonen's origin points, or just kind of what a culmination of it was. Part of it was sports, not all of it, but it's really a core part of its. There's two genres that define its content indicator and the way that these stories are told, and then there's another two genres that demonstrate its tone and attitude. Kind of the same thing, but like the perspective, the approach to the subject matter, to the content indicators. And it really was kind of a sports mixed with everything else. It can be, you know, all the different imaginative, it's all the imaginativity of science fiction or fantasy or you know, anything really, like slice of life, a lot of different things, but gamifying it. We don't really necessarily think of Leiji Matsumoto's sci-fi works or Tezuka's work or Mizuki or Mizuki or Gonagai. You know, the supernatural, horror, sci-fi, fantasy, all these different genres that mangaka were really important in pioneering, right? And certainly Ishinomori is a big part of that too. I just realized that they didn't mention Cyborg 009 in the science fiction and robots category at all. That's really interesting. That certainly has a lot to play with. A lot of them have a lot of debt. A lot of shonen has, you know, a modicum of debt to pay for those early trailblazers. But none of those titles have systems. There's power levels in Astro Boy. There is like, I want 1,000,000 watts, and like there is something along those lines, but it's not gamified. There's not a hierarchy as much as there is like one powerful dude and a couple of like organizations, systems, rules, scenarios that allow a lot of one-on-one duels and battles, right? It's the gamification, it's the imaginativity. You can have anything you want. Soul Reapers, pirates, ninjas, martial artists, manga authors, firefighters, you know, a lot of different soul detective. You make your own up, whatever. I list a ton of them. Even their own sports. A lot of Battle Shonen is sports, right? That you can still be a sports series, but gamifying it in that regard, a lot of the early sports series themselves were battle shonen. Because they often had a lot of the same components of the tone of Bancho and comedy, which was the two content indicators that I'm thinking of. It's really like what really made Dragon Ball completely next level and its own, like it stands on its own rather than it's popular in the US where Dragon Ball Z. No, it's really that like it really was the first massive success that combined the best of Shonen Jump, the best it has to offer. It has all of the sci-fi, fantasy, imaginativity of all those manga, plus the systems, the fighting and the power systems and the structure of a sports series, and the two content indicators. Those are the two content indicators. Then the tone pieces, the two real big components. It had the bancho, this bancho attitude, and bancho is a Japanese term for tough guy or like a leader, a delinquent, not necessarily delinquent necessarily, but like, you know, someone in like a very main charactery, his particular attitude. Otoko Ibiki Gaki Daisho is one of the first Shonen Jump manga very early on. It was like, I think it was the first to get over 100 chapters and very much set that tone of like what it offers is like one of the, you know, that like with Shonen Jump there's the main character, but then there's his number two, there's like his best friend, there's the Zoro to Luffy, there's Sasuke to Naruto, there's Rei to Kenshiro, and in Otoko Ibiki there is I forget the fucker's name, but there is a number two guy that is like the cool secondary next to the main character. And the main character has this very singularity to him. The whole story really wraps around him, whether that is him being the titular character like Naruto, or being the one the story ultimately follows. And once it's done following that character, it's never the same. In my instance of that being Hunter x Hunter. It's still Hunter x Hunter, don't get me wrong, but like it's not following Gon anymore, right? Once Gon's out of the picture, it's kind of its own, kind of a different thing at that point. But it's really singular on one character, and that Bancho is like this enigmatic presence that is so different from everybody else and really propels the story forward, and just has this attitude about them. They're not like a punk. They're not always a punk, but it is just like, oh, this character is different. You know, what sets them apart? Even a character that's not a punk, like Midoriya, Deku, what sets him apart is he actually is willing to run towards that monster despite not having any powers. Even some people with powers weren't wanting to stand up to that monster at the beginning of the story, but he's built different. That's the thing that's like singular to him, like Asta or any of these other protagonists. So I feel like that's a lot of the attitude in the Bancho and the you know, like the walk to Arlong Park, and you see it in the opening to JoJo Part 3. You know, the one where they're all kind of walking in like a line or whatever. That sort of dynamic, or the attitude of just kind of like being really cool, hands in pockets, or just like the attitude. That's, I think, is what's separating Battle Shonen from other series that might have a system to them, might have a I don't know, there's just something that's really core and fundamental to that for Battle Shonen for me. But so even then, that is not quite the thing that separates Dragon Ball from Fist of the North Star. Fist of the North Star has three of those has all three of that, and is a very big success and a very important milestone for Shonen Jump. Really big, important, influential title. But it's not funny. It can be. It certainly can be. It has some comedy, but I would not really watch it for that, and I wouldn't watch Naruto for that either. There's some Battle Shonen that don't necessarily, but they try. They have some comedy in them, but like the real power hitters. I'm sorry to be such a soapbox on this. I love talking about this, and I haven't made the fucking video. I wouldn't be interested in saying all this right now if I hadn't already made the video. If I haven't made the video already, I want to. I have the whole fucking script already. But it's really only a handful of anime, of battle shonen, that have actually gotten all four of them very strong. And it's the reason why they are as popular as they are. One of them is Dragon Ball, and the other is One Piece. And that missing component is gag comedies. Because that is, you know, as Jeff said in his video about it, Spy Family, it's the secret king of Jump manga. They're the ones that run the longest, and they're such a, you know what I mean? They're like such a presence in the magazine, and it's just like you really are a full package if you have all four. If you're fucking funny on top of being super engrossing and engaging and really cool, like you just got it. You fucking got it, dude. That's it. Like, that's what makes you the highest grossing manga of all time. That's One Piece's formula. Comedy, bancho, about sports and fantasy. That's it. Anyway, I gotta check though now. I gotta continue Dragon Ball. Yeah, it's good. I would say the mostly original, and then I feel like I'm okay with Z because I've pretty much experienced most of it through osmosis. You know, I would make the argument that Dragon Ball Z Abridged is not fair use because I definitely feel like I've watched I can feel like I've watched Dragon Ball by having watched DBZ Abridged. It is, which does makes it kind of a replacement of the original work. Kinda. Sorry. Angels in the Court was also one of the first anime Akira Watanabe did. Oh, nice. Could have brought up that Astro Boy crossed over with a baseball anime. Yeah. This is fun. Go to watch Kaiba in a few minutes. Alright. Dragon Ball's fantasy sports game. Yep. Kimmer's Biggie Show. Yep. How's the crew tonight? Yeah, we're good. Awesome Weep. Good to see you. Funny that JoJo opening has always kind of reminded me of a classic Tarantino. Yeah. I want to try anime something now, like, now that I said that. That's sweet. Yeah. Anyway, I love talking about this shit. And that was kind of a missed opportunity for them. See, how did I get back to notes? How do I keep doing that? Why did that happen? When did I get back there? I don't know. I'll leave it blue screen. Okay, 4 hours, 45 minutes. I better get off here. Love you guys. I will be back tomorrow. Yeah, we're streaming tomorrow. Hehe, I agree. I say I was once a fan who was spotted the DBZ. It was better than DBZ. Yeah, I've seen that. And then Kaiser Necro was like, no, please. No, we're not. No, I swear. And everyone's like, oh, no. Oops. Anyway, good to see you guys. Yo, peace.